Welcome to the Ridgecrest Lost and Found podcast. In the same way that we have return guests that just keep coming back and back and back with the vengeance. This is what this show is about. My name is Logan.
I'm Steven.
And we have our first returning guest. How's it feel?
It's an honor and a privilege. Both an honor and a privilege.
Yeah.
For you or for us?
For me,
That's good.
I really enjoy it, talking.
Mm-hmm.
And so I also just love doing this.
Yeah, just moving it
Just
a little
moving
bit.
it and just feeling like I'm on I don't get to talk a lot, so.
A couple episodes ago, I did a thing where I was like trying to keep the mic really close to my mouth. And then I just, for some reason, out of nowhere, I just poked it with my mouth. And you definitely heard it on the episode. So it's just fun things like that really just keep this ball rolling.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous. I'm a little stuffy today.
Okay.
So I'm worried that I'm going to be like, sound like a pug in this mic the whole time. Like,
You'll be fine.
Just don't do that. Don't do that. Don't hit the mic, and we'll invite you back.
okay. But yeah, I'm happy to be back. I like being on this. It's fun. It's fun doing stuff like, D Now and all the Together Weekend stuff. Just being able to be, I don't know, it's nice to be in a community with other youth pastors that don't hate each other and stuff. You know what I mean? It's like that we like want to build
Yes.
community between the churches and between each other because it's just a fun thing. So
The super competitiveness of, we'll just say ministries. We won't be specific for student pastors, but it is mainly student pastors. The weird wow. Steven, say the word for me.
Competition.
no,
Competitiveness.
competitiveness.
Thank you. That shows up
He
between
didn't ask
churches is very strange.
Yeah.
I experienced. Did you experience? Not, you don't have to call it your home church, but like, did you see it back in the Bama, or was it?
Well, we were really small, and actually that was, oddly enough, you say that, that's the opposite of what it was. So much so, my senior pastor from back home, Tim Hassler, he would put on our church's sign, praying for Tanny Hill Valley Baptist Church, the other church, that week. Like each week, he would like go through like a month each year where he's like, we're praying for this church. And from the pulpit, he'll say, hey, if this is your first time here and you don't like it, I would love to help you get plugged in somewhere that you do fit. And would name 5 churches on a Sunday morning from the stage of like, hey, maybe this isn't the fit for you, but there is a church in our community, and he would go through them all. And he's like, if you need their contact information, I'll give you that. Like I saw that from a very early age of like such a healthy thing. And that's why I just look at all of our community of like, it's such a good thing that we do all this together. Because biblically, that's not how it was ever designed to be. These churches as like big organizations who are in competition with one another. It's one body that is pushing the message and the gospel to the communities. And it's like, in biblical times, there's like house churches and stuff. And they would have never even thought of like these like huge entities.
Never.
That are in competition. It's like, so.
Yeah, you were all in it together.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine if like your pastor didn't do that every month, but like just out of nowhere, he was like, hey, pray for this church. They really need it. That would be the most shade ever.
No, he's like, it's like a thing of like, hey, we love them.
Right.
Let's pray for them. Let's lift them up this week. And for some people, like even for me, I was like, because I, as a student, viewed it at times as like a competition. So
Absolutely.
I was like, why is he plugging other churches? But it was like such a good reminder to me of that. And I always think about that every time. Like I'll still go, when I go home, the church is like a mile from my house. And so I'll like pass it and it'll say it up there. I'm like, he's still doing
there
it.
You go.
I love that guy.
But you almost have to be that intentional about it, or else like, it's not like, well, I guess some churches are like, we're better than this church. But even most of your churches,
it's just passive aggressive.
It just kind of naturally happens. Like, oh, well, you're great and we're on the same team, but like we just happen to be more awesome than you.
Well, and you know what happens though is when you don't do that. And I'm like intentional about that. Like, people like sometimes like you meet people from other churches and stuff, and that there's the opportunity to like talk about another church or whatever. I like have realized it makes your church look or you as a person look worse talking about other people. I don't know. That's kind of my goal in this year in general, not like just with the churches, but just in general of just like I want to be somebody that just doesn't talk about people,
mm-hmm.
because that no one likes that.
Yeah.
Like, to be someone who just doesn't talk about people is such a good quality and a Christ-like quality of just like, I want to be somebody who doesn't gossip. And like, to the point, like, you have those friends that you're like, oh, I would never even bring up another person to them. Because when I do, they're just like, let's not talk about that.
Right.
And it's like, I want to be that guy.
And the interesting thing is, when I don't know how old I was, but it was years ago. I think it was probably in college. I had friends that, like, you have those groups where it's like you just find yourself talking about a certain person or certain people, and I realized, and maybe it's because I heard it one time, but I realized that they're talking about all kinds of people who aren't in the circle, which means that when you're not in the circle, chances are you were on that list of people being talked about.
And it's like, when you do it, when you gossip, you almost are giving them permission to gossip about you too.
Right.
Because then they know, like, oh, he can't get mad at me.
Yeah, he's cool with
it. Yeah, he's doing that. And so I don't know. It's interesting to me, like, even biblically, I don't know. I don't think of them having so much drama, like, in the early church. But Paul, in like all his letters, is like talking like specifically gossip and slander. He says that all the time. Yeah. And somehow it's just one of those things that modern people just think is like, it's okay. And I think students especially is like, that's something I like harp on all the time. It's like, hey, not that I'm good at it, but it's like, we don't get to pick the things that Scripture says are serious and not serious. It's like, he's serious about it all, so let's be serious about it all. So yeah. Anyways, that was an interesting start to this.
We went into it.
Oh my gosh, talking about the Lord.
So it kind of messes up my idea for today, because really we were going to rank the best churches in the county.
Oh yeah.
But not really.
I'm bad about, I don't even know what's in the county.
No.
They called me, I'm about to dig up some stumps in my yard.
That's a fun time.
Yeah. And not grind up some stumps in my yard. They had, I have a sidewalk that goes up to my house, and the previous owners had planted and then I guess cut down like Bradford pear trees like all the way. And so now there's just these stumps that are like
ankle
that
breakers.
Big. Well, and it's just mowing the grass. It makes it so annoying because it'll like the blades, they're just high enough to where the blades like only sometimes will like hit them and stuff. And so my dad's coming, he's bringing a stump grinder, but I had to call the people to like 811 dig because I don't know where the lines are.
Which is important. Kind of you should always do that.
Always do it. Be a good citizen. And so
it's really just so you don't die in an explosion.
Well, I will say, I called the people and they were like, "What county are you in?" And I was like, "Ooh." And I like looked at Michaela, and she's like, "Madison." So I'm like, "It's Madison City and County." I was like, "I didn't even know that." But I should have known that because I know like Madison County schools. I don't know. I just never thought about where we are. Anyways,
I'm glad I'm not the only one that has those dumb moments.
No, you want to know what Tyler's famous for in youth minister circles? Ask him to name a Christian singer or band.
We've talked about this.
Yeah, I don't know a lot of them. I know the songs. I know. Well, I don't know the names of the songs. I know them, but anyways, I was surprised though when you said that like blow up and kill yourself.
Yeah.
I didn't know how much stuff. She's like, okay, so here's what's all going to be marked: this gas company, this gas company, this phone company, this phone company, the water, and I was like, oh, I thought you were going to be like, there's a water line under there.
Nope.
No, it's like,
and especially like in I would consider your neighborhood an older neighborhood. A lot of times they don't just, like in my neighborhood, they're all run right next to each other because they've thought through this. But in those older neighborhoods, you'll just have random lines everywhere. Because as they put in fiber and as they put in, Comcast will run this way, DirecTV will run this way, and then you don't know where half these lines are. Yeah. It's crazy.
So if you want to grind some stumps up with me and Papa Troy.
I haven't met your dad yet.
Oh, he's awesome. Not I don't think people are always surprised when they meet him because we don't look at all alike. But he's
because you're adopted, or
I think so. No, I look enough. I look more like my sister. Oh. And my sister kind of looks like him. She's kind of, I think
she's kind of like the halfway point.
I think she looks more like them than I do.
But you've never met my dad, have you? Probably not.
I don't know.
So I get my height and all that from my mom's side of the family, and she's 6 feet tall. And so, and I look like her. And so people will see my dad, and he's like 5'11", 180. He played tennis his whole life in baseball. He was a shortstop, so he has that kind of build. And then he has a sweet mustache. And so they always see him and they're like, "That's your dad?" And I'm like, "Yeah, he's awesome." And then they see my mom and they're like, "Oh, that is 100% your mom." And I'm like, "That's how it goes."
You said she's not tall?
No, she is tall. She's 6 feet.
Wow.
Yeah. I didn't tell you this. I don't know why I would tell you this. It's really weird.
Okay.
Tyler, I went to the Healthplex the other day, and I was, you know how you walk in with people just randomly into things? They're all both walking through the same entrance. Doors. There was a girl walking in, because the Healthplex, they share with like the sports medicine orthopedic thing. This girl had a giant knee brace on. She must have destroyed her ligaments, but she was all of 6'3". Like we were walking in almost like the same height, and it was a wild time.
There was a bunch of like girls from the MC volleyball team that were coming to our church for a while, and it was just very humbling because they were all taller than everybody. I was like, whoa.
I had a friend in college who, when he graduated, him and his wife both would coach volleyball because she was like, I don't think she played at MC, but she played like in high school, and that's what she wanted to do. But he was like, just watch it. Like, just go and figure something. And I started watching like college women's indoor volleyball. And I was like, this is intense. This is crazy.
Have you ever watched men's Olympic volleyball?
No.
When they serve it, it's the most wild thing. It like knocks the person who returns the serve down.
Yeah.
Like, it's like getting hit by a car every
can't
time they
imagine.
serve. It's wild. You got looks from your parents or what?
I mean, I don't spend enough time looking at myself to really.
Oh my gosh.
What does that even mean?
What is that?
I don't look in the mirror in the morning.
He says as he switches the camera to himself.
I'm not looking at the picture. I don't have to look.
Hi, how are you today?
I don't
so
know.
You
Do I
never
look like
get
my
that?
dad or
You're
my
not
mom?
like, you look like your Paul.
You don't.
I've heard that I look like my dad.
Okay.
I've heard that. But
You don't agree?
I don't know.
Y'all have similar features.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say they look alike. And it
He
doesn't.
goes to church here?
No, but he comes here often.
Yeah.
But like his dad's bald, and y'all have like a different face shape. Like your head shape is
I
different.
look a lot like my brother. And he's the spitting image of my dad when he was a teenager.
So maybe like in 30 years you'll look just like your dad.
probably. But I'll probably still have my hair.
You think so?
Ooh, flex.
Oh, I am real.
Because they say they say
You don't have. You're not even pushing back any though, are you?
I don't know. I shaved my head the other day and it all grew back. I was so worried. Did you see me with my buzz cut at all?
No.
I went down to a 2, just all over. And
Nice.
just because I've never done it before, I had this little crisis of sitting in the barber chair, and I've had the same haircut for like 5 years. And my barber was like, "So same thing again?" And I was like, "Oh no." I'm like in this.
You're like, take it off.
And so I was like, he was like, I was like, "What do you think about buzzing it?" He was like, I thought he was going to be like, he was like halfway into the haircut already. I
Yeah.
said it thinking he's going to say, "No, we can't. Well, maybe next time." And he was like, "Sure." And I was like, "Oh gosh, I suggested it. So now I'm going to look like a girl
Goober.
if I like don't do it." And so then he did it. And I was like, "Okay." I didn't tell Michaela I was doing it. And I came home and she was like, "What did you do?"
That's very relatable for me, is having a moment where you are like, if I ask the barber to do a certain haircut, is he going to tell me no? You know, like, is he going to be like, "No, I don't like that."
Yeah.
That's very relatable.
Which
to
is
me.
like what he does for a living is gives you what you ask for.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like,
I don't want to offend the person.
So I've never did. I was always a walk-in, just whoever was available. I've always gotten haircuts. My dad has had the same lady cutting his hair forever because he's just particular, and he's like, "I just want to cut like this." He goes in like every 2 weeks, and I've met the lady. She cut my hair a few times, and she was like, "Yeah, at this point, like his hair grows so slow, I don't really cut his hair. It just kind of stays how it is." But I've always wanted like a person to cut my hair, just like where I can walk in and they say, "This is what we're doing." I'm like, "Yeah, sure." Or I can go and say like, "What do you think looks good?" And I finally got one. I tried some out, and
shout him out.
her name's Kayla. She's a Gluckstadt Barber and Style. She's awesome.
So if you like Logan's hair,
and
go to Kayla.
she was she just randomly started cutting hair, and I was like, "I'm gonna try it again." And then she remembered what I get, and I was like, and then I said, "You just do what you think looks good," and that looked great. And the most important thing is Megan liked it, and I was like, "This is what we're doing." So now I have one hair person that I go to.
That's good.
It's good.
I know somebody, and then we'll get to what we're
Absolutely
actually doing. We're probably like 50 minutes in, and we
Not
haven't
at
even
all.
started.
We're probably 15 minutes in.
But
you're exactly 15 minutes in.
I'm getting good at this.
He's got the clock up there. I know somebody that gets their haircut, has been getting their haircut from the same guy since they were little. He retired, lives in Tidewater, and they still go to him in his house and get their haircut.
My college roommate.
I think that's the craziest thing I've
Did
ever
they have
heard.
curly hair?
I don't know.
Like
I don't remember who told me that. It was just somebody at church.
I've noticed that curly haired people are the most particular about their hair. They're just like,
it's understandable.
But and it's not fair because I don't have curly hair, and everyone I talk to with curly hair, A, is particular, but B, they're particular because someone has messed their hair up.
Mm-hmm.
And my thinking is like,
well, curly hair is, I imagine it's probably difficult to cut correctly.
but is it?
I don't.
If you were a professional hair cutter,
I mean, they did a curly hair class.
that's what I feel like.
School.
I feel like they did that. I feel like we've.
What's that class called?
Curly hair class.
Yeah.
CHC. I'm in CHC 101.
CHC 101. Yeah.
Curly hair cutting.
Yeah.
Curly hair curling. There's a whole.
That's CHC.
There's a whole block.
201.
That's right.
But that's funny. All right, so why we're here.
I didn't know you were going to be so like gung ho for getting into this. I'm here for it.
I'm so excited.
You are.
I came up with this idea. So if this idea doesn't work, it's not on the hosts; it's on the guests.
When
Appreciate that.
we had
And Steven didn't do any of his preparation, so if his is bad, it's
Yeah.
on Steven.
we
If this is a draft, it's going to be bad because I have a reputation on this podcast for being horrible at drafts.
you do though.
Okay, so what we're doing, I don't. There's a podcast I listen to that does this, and they call them Mount Rushmores. So,
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
so we're doing Mount Rushmores of fall things of fall.
Don't let me forget. I have a fantastic icebreaker that I heard on a different podcast. We'll do after the draft.
Just do it right now.
Yeah, we do it right now.
But you're in the middle of explaining what we're doing.
I know, but now you said it, I'm anxious about it.
Well, say what the draft is on, and then I'll do my icebreaker. So
I
that
said
way-
what it was on.
What?
Fall things.
Oh.
Things about fall. Things you like about fall.
So you said this is a Mount Rushmore?
We get 4 each.
Okay, so my understanding of a Mount Rushmore is that you were picking like the 4 things that when someone thinks of that category, those are the 4 things they think of, right?
Or just like your favorite things about
or
it.
the best.
Okay.
The best things about it. So if we were doing one on summer, it'd be like going to the pool, eating popsicles, whatever you do.
Watermelon.
Rock
during
salt
summer.
in the pool.
Yeah, rock salt in the pool.
Watermelon.
Yeah.
I do think we could go back and get that old short, and we could clip it in with the video of him eating rock salt. I think it would do
Give me
well.
a clip and make it
I
happen.
got a lot of people that told me they did do that, and a lot of people that also said like you're a psychopath.
I talked to my in-laws who make homemade ice cream all the time, and they thought you were a psychopath.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, my voice just cracked. They somebody else told me that like, you realize like ice cream salt is like not cleaned or something.
What? It's not cleaned.
Yeah, like it's not supposed to be eaten. That's
Um,
why it's what it is.
Unclean salt.
Or unpurified or something, which I don't believe any
I don't
salt
believe
is.
that. I don't believe that.
How
at
are they
all.
cleaning salt? Because when you
'Cause
wash
salt
it,
purifies.
it dissolves. How are you washing it? Isn't that a thing? I don't
My
know.
whole world is shook right now.
Just the thought of cleaning salt, just like running it through a dishwasher.
Well, it's like, have
like,
you ever watched a
it's
raccoon
gone.
try to eat cotton candy? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
No.
So raccoons, every time,
They wash
pull it
their
up,
food.
Steven.
I'm popping.
Every time they eat anything, they dip it in the water, and so people give
no,
them.
they don't.
And so people give them cotton candy, and they dip it in the water, and they're like,
and it dissolves.
and then they get more, and they try to do it, and they keep doing it.
I got to see this. This is going to be incredible. Move your head. Oh, it just immediately.
And he's like, where'd it go?
So is this like raccoon bullying? So for the listeners that are only on audio, it's a picture of a raccoon in
Not
like
a picture, a video.
a video in like a creek bed, and they gave him a pretty big hunk of cotton candy, and they eat it. They're like, "Oh, this is nice," and as soon as they put it in the water, it disappears immediately.
And it is sad how he frantically is like
Yeah.
feeling for it. Like he's like, where does this go?
Because the problem is they take a bite of it first, and they're like, "Oh, this is incredible." And
Yes, he has it
then-
in his mouth, carrying it to the water.
Yes. Oh, see, this guy. Oh, he figured it out. He didn't wash it. The last raccoon did not wash it. He went against the grain.
So, anyways, that's how I'm picturing
Raccoons are
somebody
underrated
purifying
animals.
salt going. They're
Yeah.
just trying to.
I love raccoons. They're great.
My icebreaker.
Yes.
It's a good icebreaker. It's kind of a serious one, but not like a sad serious. But it's
Okay.
like you put some thought into it. You have a house that you can have. It's your home. It's your primary residence where you and your family live. You get to pick where you want it to be. So number one, you're picking the location that you live, but you have 3 doors. They're magic doors that can take you anywhere in the world. Where do your 3 doors lead to? Did that make sense?
Yeah. Do you want us to do this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I think I'll go first and then Steven, because I feel like you need time to think. Is that true?
Roasted.
How dare you?
Well, no, I'm saying you came in not even knowing we're going to do today.
I do need to hear your answers first.
Okay, number 1, I've never been here. Fiji.
Mm-hmm.
The water bottles are cool.
That's where you'd want the house to be, or one of your magic doors?
No, that's one of my magic doors.
Okay.
I'd want the house. I like here. I really do. I like my neighborhood. I like here. We'll stay here. We're gonna go Fiji 1. We're gonna go Steamboat Springs, Colorado 2.
That's a good one.
Just go skiing. I've only been skiing once.
But you're willing to lock in a ski door.
I just remember being skiing and looking around and thinking, even though I am terrible at skiing, this is so fun because it's so pretty. Like, it's just really, really pretty.
So where on the, like at the top of the mountain?
No,
where
like
the door
in
leads
the,
to? Like you just ski out the door?
So
or?
Steamboat Springs is like, I don't know about the level of what's expensive to go to, but I stayed at this really nice place in college because my friend had like 8 brothers and sisters, and their parents booked this. His parents booked this whole
chateau.
Yeah,
lodge.
this whole like place at this resort.
Yeah.
And then they all went to different colleges, and their spring breaks didn't line up. So they were like, "Hey, just bring some friends. It's fine because we already paid for it."
Mm-hmm.
And so they're like, "If they can just buy their tickets, we'll pay for everything else." And so I was like, "I've never been skiing. I don't have skiing money now." So I was like, "I'll go."
Yeah.
And it was just amazing. So I don't know. That's the only place I know, but it was just in the like on the little street. If you look at Steamboat Springs, it's just like it looks like a little Hallmark movie town. 3, I think I need to go somewhere warm, like a.
You already got Fiji.
Yeah, but that's a beach warm. I need like a regular, like a Midwestern feel.
You're very American. Like, well, I
Yeah.
guess Fiji's not American.
Fiji.
Where-
I feel like more people from America go to Fiji than
Fijians.
than other countries. You think a lot of Russians are going to?
Steven, tell me on the map where Fiji is without looking.
Give me.
You know, it's
Oh, such a slow camera turn.
Don't
around there.
move the camera. Give me wherever that is. That looks great.
That is going to be either Vermont, because the leaves are changing, or Wyoming.
I looked up fall slideshow to
Oh,
So
Yeah,
yeah,
well,
whatever that. I just want a nice little nature place.
yeah, that's good.
All right.
All right, my
That
second.
might have
or you
taken too
said-
long.
No, I thought that was wonderful.
your second.
I would keep my place here. I don't know if I keep my exact house here, but I would stay in the Madison area because we have family here and all that jazz. My first door would be to Crested Butte, Colorado, which is another ski place. So we went skiing every year since I was 5 until I got till my first or second year of marriage. We went skiing every year. So and we've been to Steamboat. We've been everywhere. Winter Park.
Is Steamboat nice? Is that like a nice place?
Oh yeah, Steamboat's real nice.
I'm like, I don't have anything to compare that to, but
I'm gonna say it's mid-level, but I don't mean it's mid. I mean like it's not the most expensive crazy thing, and it's not like a West Virginia ski where there's 2 hills. Like it's a very nice resort, but you're not gonna just pay out the butt for it. So like it's a very nice place. I think we've been to Steamboat twice. Crested Butte used to be like just a hidden gem. No one really knew about it, but it had the world's best like backcountry skiing and extreme terrain, which I don't ski that, but
fixing to say.
but then just the mountain is incredible. And now the skiing has gotten really popular, but the mountain biking in the summer is ridiculous. Like people in Crested Butte leave in the summer because it just gets so crowded and crazy. They have a wildflower festival in the summer, which is really cool. So door number 1 would be the Crested Butte. It's awesome. I love that place. Number 2 would be London, England. Been there twice. I have one of my roommates in college currently lives on a houseboat on the Thames, and so it'd be cool to hang out with him and go all over the place. England's really cool.
You had an opinion on that
I just don't care at all about England. I don't want to go.
Well, you don't have to. It's
I know,
not
and
your
I'm not.
magic
His door. It's his
I
door,
just
not
think
yours.
that was a bad. I think you wasted that one. But what are you gonna do in England? It's gonna rain all the time.
I have access to Europe, so I can go anywhere quickly from there, and then
Just put it anywhere then.
no, I like England, and then you can go to Ireland, Wales, Scotland.
See, I thought instead of doing that, doing like on those like hills in Scotland, you know.
Yeah,
it's
that's
like
pretty cool.
But anyways,
And we could play golf at St. Andrews.
they don't want me out there. I hit a house at Lake Caroline the other day, so I don't think I would be able to play at I hit a house playing at Lake Caroline. I hit one, was like, okay, I'm gonna hit another ball. Hit the same house twice. No, well, the first
That's
time
consistency right there. That's
first
a
time I
grouping.
hit a house, and the second time it went like in their pool.
Yeah.
So
I hit the wall of a house in Bay Point. It was on a par 5, and I mean, I just smoked.
some of these, I'm like, y'all must have not seen golf when y'all built these houses, because that's where I hit them.
Yeah.
That's where people, because I play with good people sometimes, and they still shank balls sometimes, and it's like, these houses are not in good spots.
No.
Anyways, your third door.
I'm going to pick another place I've never been, but it's a place like yours. I'm just going to pick Bali. It's pretty water. Ballin' in Bali.
Nice. All right.
Probably should pick a place that I've been, because I mean, if we're locking in a place that I've only seen one picture of.
Yeah, I'm pretty
no,
much
no.
just going
No.
for Fiji off the water, the picture that's like in the waterfall.
I'm removing Bali. I'm going to pick Smith Lake as my third door.
Okay.
He's an Alabama guy. Of course he's going to hate Smith Lake.
I don't hate. I've never been actually, which is crazy because I have friends that go all the time. But
We don't have a lake house. There is a lake house another person owns that we go to every year that's really cool. So mine is Smith Lake, London, and Crested Butte. I'm so happy with my picks.
So I was hoping that one of you would select your house to be not local, because I could make one of my doors to your house so I could use your doors. That way I could have more doors.
But we're both local.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, I can just go to your houses now. If you weren't, one of my doors could be to your house so that I could also use your doors.
I don't think you're getting too.
But our house.
I'm sorry that I have strategy.
You're getting too strategic.
But our house.
Somebody's watched Lord
you
of the
could
Rings
make
or something.
your house. Definitely his first door is to the Shire. Tell me I'm wrong.
Disney Springs.
I don't even know what that means.
Disney Springs?
Yeah, because my wife loves Disney. And
I'm assuming that's in Disney World.
It's like a shopping center, right?
It's basically like a big area of like shops and restaurants and stuff outside, like on Disney property, but outside of the parks.
So you could just go to the Pearl Outlet Mall and get the same experience.
No, because I have friends in Florida, one, so I'd get to visit them.
And
Two,
you have friends in Pearl.
One, I just don't
do
understand
I-
why you wouldn't just go Magic Kingdom.
Ooh.
because
If you're a real Disney fan.
because then they would eventually be able to find out that I didn't have tickets and I'd get in trouble.
Well, I think this is you
I'm
think
sorry,
way
do I-
too deep
do-
into these things.
I'm sorry that I
think in
did-
our fictional world where we're putting magical doors, I think we can get.
and I wouldn't go to Magic Kingdom. I would go to Hollywood Studios. It's the best part.
Okay, I think we can also spring for a season pass for you if you really need it.
As
Okay.
you go through
Appreciate
the
that.
door, whatever, like for me and Tyler, a lift ticket comes into our hands. and we
Yeah,
step
I'm
through the
not
door.
thinking, oh man, I can't do Steamboat Springs because skiing every day would be expensive. I'm
cool.
like, this is built in
built
this
in.
fantasy land we're living in.
I'm not going there just for
You can tell he's a realist, like by these things.
Absolutely, I'm a realist. But I'm not going just because of Disney. I'm going because it's a practical choice, because we vacation there a lot because Anna loves Disney. So that would cut down on us having to drive there. I have friends in Florida, so I'd be able to visit them. And I wouldn't have to, like if I went into the parks through my door, I wouldn't have to.
I am so fascinated to hear your fall picks after this because you're like already like
It's going to be great.
everything is so thought through.
I'm an overthinker.
I know, and I love that. I'm
Wait,
very
but
excited
did you
about
say
this.
where your house was located?
It'd be local. I like rain.
It doesn't have to be.
I know.
But let's just say it does so we don't look like we all picked it.
Okay.
It has to be local.
I didn't know if you pick Idaho.
My other door would go to Idaho. That way I'd be able to visit my brother. And
Aw.
I'd be able to like actually interact with my niece and nephew.
That's sweet.
I don't get to see them a lot.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
Steven.
And Idaho's a cool place. It's a cool place.
I wouldn't know.
I'm crying right now.
Yeah.
That's so sweet.
Third door.
Where does your sister live?
Birmingham.
Let's just so Logan can feel vindicated. Let's say it's the Shire.
Don't put this on me.
Third door's the Shire. I've
see,
seen
we
the-
didn't even act like
I have to
now
stay
that
in the
I have
box,
to
remember?
rethink.
I have to
Now
fit my stereotype.
If that was the case, every door would lead to your bedroom where your computer is. That would be really your stereotype. It's just one
dare
big
you.
loop. It's one big loop with your gaming console.
All right.
Gaming console with my Nintendo.
What? I love. You ever heard like Nick Saban yell at the yell at his players, and he obviously doesn't understand video games, and he's like, the problem with y'all is y'all are all on the Nintendo, and all these kids are like, none of us play Nintendo.
So did Saban get trucked this past weekend?
Trucked?
Like hit, run over?
I don't know. I've seen him get hit before.
I saw a video where he was bleeding from his face. I didn't know if that was like from
I don't
this
think
week.
that was from this week.
Okay. That's
Might
the
as
problem.
well have been.
It's the
It was
problem
very
with social
sad.
media.
It was
these
very
days.
sad for me.
Bro, lost to Texas.
My mom's a Texas fan too,
Yikes.
and so it was just so. I deserved it. She didn't rub it in my face too much. And she should have, because when we beat him in the national championship when I was like 11, I was probably not fun to be around.
No.
But
And that was kind of the last time that Texas was good enough to beat Alabama.
yep. All right, let's get into it.
What's your percentage? What do you think is the percentage of Auburn fans that live in the greater Birmingham area? Do you think
It's very high. It's way higher. It's not
interesting.
It's not like you think, because when we moved there from Texas, so I lived in Texas when I was 12 or 11 or 10, I don't remember. When we moved,
Maybe 7.
when we moved,
Maybe 9.
I know I was going into the 5th grade, so whatever that is. Not 12.
Yeah.
I know that.
That would be 10.
Yeah, 10. I always say 12, and I just realized like I was not 12. And so we were moving into about halfway between Birmingham and Tuscaloosa.
Right.
So I'm thinking, I was an Alabama fan my whole life because my dad was. Everyone around me was Texas fans, and Texas was elite back then, Vince Young, all that. And so I thought, I'm going to be here, and there's going to be just Alabama fans. This is going to be so cool. And then like half of my school was Auburn, like probably just about half.
I wouldn't have expected that.
Yeah, you wouldn't.
You're in Alabama. There's going to be
No,
Auburn
there are
fans.
Auburn fans I know that live like in Tuscaloosa.
I
And
know.
I'm
That's
like,
a wild thought.
I don't know. Here it's a little different. I didn't realize either how split it would be between State and Ole Miss people when you get here.
You know where it's not split? Ridgecrest.
Everyone's State.
There's probably legitimately, I could probably count on 2 hands the number of Ole Miss families in this church.
That's crazy. Ours is pretty much really well split. We have a lot of LSU people too. I don't know but like 2 or 3 more Alabama folks. But
I'm married into being a State person.
you didn't care before, or were you something
I
else?
could not have cared less. I've never watched a football game. I've never watched any of that kind of stuff. But it's really important to my in-laws that State is the best. So,
Is it really?
Yeah, they're big State people.
You got a cowbell?
Probably somewhere around the house that I didn't authorize.
Okay.
Oh,
All right. So
son.
we got to come up with 2 things. Number 1, it's going to be a snake draft. So it goes first person, second person, third person the first round, and then it goes third person, second person, first person the second round, like that. So the end people get 2 picks in a row.
But number 2
Is always in the middle.
number 2.
So we can do that however y'all want to do that.
Well, the guest always goes first.
Is that true?
It is true.
Okay. Oh gosh, I got my number 1 pick locked in then.
Dang. But me and Steven have to do rock, paper, scissors to see who goes second and third.
Do it. Rochambeau. Rock, paper, scissors.
Is Rochambeau the same thing as rock, paper, scissors?
I don't know. I just have always said that. I don't know what it means.
I think it's just like.
I've always just said that for rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah.
All right, y'all go.
All right, we're gonna do audio version. So instead of shoot, you're gonna say what you're doing, but we won't say what the.
You have to explain this every time.
We were doing what he wasn't here when it happened.
It's
If
fine.
he was
I'm
in
not
a-
involved.
If he was a viewer of the podcast, then he would know.
So one time, for rock paper scissors, we had to say what we were gonna throw before we started,
Mhm.
and that was always fun because everyone's a dirty liar.
You were especially a dirty liar.
Best 2 out of 3.
Okay.
Rock, paper, scissors,
rock.
paper. Rock, paper, scissors,
rock.
scissors.
Rock.
All right, we have to let them know that we're 1-1 now.
1-1.
You didn't say that it was 1-0 the first time. I thought we were just
It's tied.
I'm trying to throw you
tied.
off your game.
okay.
Rock, paper, scissors, rock.
scissors.
Yes.
All right, so you want 2
So
or 3? Because it is kind of nice to have the back-to-back picks.
I want 2.
All right. So Mount Rushmore, you get 4.
So we're doing a draft of 4.
Draft of 4. Things about fall.
Now,
Listeners, you got to vote. And
we'll have a poll in Spotify.
I
of
feel
who
like we
had the
need to
best
make a
draft.
graphic or something. Now I'm making work for people who are not me.
Why don't you make the graphic?
I can't make them, but
Okay.
I can talk about it. I'll draw it on a paper
Okay.
and take a picture of the paper.
Okay.
So
I'll take it.
here it is, my first pick, the first pick.
I'm ready. I'm writing it down.
Crunching on leaves when you walk.
Do I have to really write that down?
Yeah, it's got to be on the graphic too. There is
So-
nothing better than when you're walking outside during the fall and you're just like, I love that. It's my favorite thing about fall. I love walking through my yard and there's leaves on the ground and you crunch on them. Y'all don't like that? If y'all are acting like that's
Well,
not.
we're getting a lot of that right now because the grass is so dry that it simulates that kind of crunching
Oh,
noise.
we walk in our neighborhood just about every night and Maggie is like playing with these leaves and I'm like, oh, it's fall. And then I was like, oh no, these trees are just dying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just death.
Yeah, so I'm so stiff. So yeah, crunching on leaves when you walk. First overall pick. Oh, I feel great. I got that. I was worried I wasn't going to get that one.
How specific are we supposed to be?
As specific as you want to
Okay.
be.
Yeah.
I like you can say
That's just like laser specific.
that's what I mean. What else?
Yeah.
How else am I going to say that? I love the feeling and the sound of crunching on
Yeah,
leaves.
I understand. I get it. I just threw me off with how specific that was.
Yep. All right. You ready for mine?
Yes.
The first one is for the people. All right. It's something that is gonna seal the deal for this entire draft.
I know what it's going to be, and I'm worried.
But see, you being worried makes me think that I'm not going to pick the right thing.
Okay, pick it.
Pumpkin spice everything.
That's a good one. That's a
Yeah,
good pick.
that's fair.
PSLs.
PSLs all day. Russ Daniel his number one pick would be PSLs.
I don't know. No, Russ is actually like, I think anti-flavored coffee sometimes. Like he's like a purist. He
No,
wants.
but I agree with that. But he said, and I wouldn't have believed him otherwise. He said he loves a good pumpkin spice latte.
I didn't think that of him. I thought he was like black coffee all year round. The worship pastor at our church, him and Russ are both like coffee guys. The worship pastor has a little bean grinder at
You can
his
say
desk.
Chase because Russ already called him out on his
Okay,
episode.
Chase. He grinds his own beans. He said
He
that
didn't
on the podcast.
actually give a name.
He said Chase.
Did he?
So
I thought
the
he
way
just did everything but give a name.
Yeah, but then right after he said
Oh, okay.
Chase.
the way our offices are set up is like we're all just have desks in the same room,
Mhm.
and they're like in like fours, like little cubicles almost. And Michaela, my wife, and him share a like wall,
Yeah.
and she gets so mad when he's grinding those coffee because it takes way longer than you'd think.
So he
It's like
hand grinds.
hand grinds them. He has
What
a grinder at home, but
What a
at work
champ.
he's like, and it's like it's loud, and he just does it all the time. All right, Steven.
So I get
Two
to go
picks.
I get to go twice. Okay. So
This is why I let him go third because him doing two in a row is going to just throw him off his game.
I've already got both.
All right, let us hear
So
one.
The first one is Thanksgiving Day.
That's a good pick.
Because it's just one time with family where everybody has to be pleasant. It's great.
You are so sentimental, dude.
He's a softie.
I am. Not really.
He is.
I mean, everything you've picked today has been because of your family. So you just like a family man.
Maybe I'm just a nice person.
You just love your family.
I love my family. In my house, Thanksgiving starts Christmas. Well, really, in reality, my wife is the kind of person that goes straight from Halloween to Christmas.
Oh, I am that way.
Yeah. But
Christmas season pauses on Thanksgiving Day and then resumes on Black Friday.
All right.
Yeah.
I know that you, Steven, will have an opinion, but I'm going to ask Tyler first. We wouldn't say appropriate. When is the correct day to start listening to Christmas music?
I start the day after Halloween,
I
So
think
you're November 1.
November 1.
I think the correct way to do
Interesting.
it.
November 1, my dad's birthday.
I think it's totally acceptable.
We are all about your dad
I
today.
think it's totally acceptable to do November 1. But I think it should be societal, accepted by society. Like everyone should agree that it's Thanksgiving Day, because that's kind of when
I'm
all
cool.
of the Christmas
I'm
stuff
not-
starts.
on the
Yeah.
day you're listening to Christmas music.
No, see,
I don't
I'm
feel
like
like that's
I'm
true.
like Thanksgiving Day. We're doing Thanksgiving, and
But
then
what is
well,
Thanksgiving music? What is Thanksgiving like? You know,
Well, we should make it.
every Thanksgiving thing is
Ben Rector did
It's
make a
Christmas themed by
Thanksgiving song.
proxy.
I think that you go. Thanksgiving ends when I get in the car to go shopping, and now that's like noon on Thanksgiving because of
but
the way
see the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, which we watch every Thanksgiving.
Santa's
at our
in it.
house. He is in it. When he shows up, that's them saying, "Hey, Christmas has started."
That
So
I like that.
Thanksgiving Day for me is Christmas.
I just don't. I don't agree. I don't like it. It's the day after Thanksgiving.
That's fine.
The day after Thanksgiving is the least Christmas spirit you'll see, though, because it's Black Friday.
Oh,
So-
I love though.
Yeah, but
I
don't
miss
do Black Friday.
Yeah.
I miss when Black Friday used to be like. Now, like I said, that everything is like they just never close. They're
Yeah.
like
You
can come
miss
at-
people getting in fistfights over a television.
Well, I miss like moms having to go and wait outside of Best Buy for 5 hours until it opened at 5 a.m. and it was 12 degrees and you were just out there freezing and
That's
like
the Christmas spirit.
yeah, it's like you're working for it.
Your
Okay.
mom was a Black Fridayer.
No, but my aunt was, and I would go with my aunt to wait in lines for other things. So like she would wait in line for one thing, I would wait in line for the other thing for her, and I just loved it.
Yep.
Okay,
So that's my first pick, Thanksgiving Day. It's
a good pick.
it's like
It's
pinnacle
really good.
fall.
It's
like
really good.
It's a good pick.
Pick number 2 is going to be more generic, but especially with this summer being so blisteringly hot, just going on walks with my dog.
Dog walks.
Dog
That's
walks.
a personal one. Also
Yeah.
very soft. I like it.
Yeah. Because I haven't been able to take him out on walks because it's just been so hot.
well, I just have been taking mine, and Michaela was like, "Hey, stop!" And I was like, "Why?" She's like, "Do you realize how hot that asphalt is on
Yeah.
their feet?" And I was like, "I hadn't thought about that." And it's
Yeah.
like 110 degrees, and I'm like, "Come on, Chanel, let's go on a walk." And
She's
she's like,
no.
I mean, she'll still go, but she's like, probably like, man, this hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been having to do all of like to get his energy out. We've just been playing fetch in the backyard, and he loves it. But
But you like a walk.
walks are better, just with the cool air.
Do you go by yourself and him? Is it between you and the dog? What's his name? Oscar?
Yes. Frank.
Flynn?
You told me that last time. Oh my
I did.
gosh, I'm bad about that. I'm so
Oscar,
sorry. I'm
that's-
embarrassed.
That's funny.
Cut that.
But do you remember the names of his dogs?
I don't.
See,
But he
there you-
does not talk about his dogs near as much as I talk about mine.
That may not be true.
I don't know. I talk about Chanel a lot. My baby.
Oscar? Is that its name?
Oscar's a great
No,
name.
It's Stout.
Down.
Oscar is a good name. That's a good dog name.
It is.
It's one I guess. I love seeing dogs in public and just guessing their names and seeing if I'm right. And I've never been right, but sometime I'm gonna be right.
Yeah.
And I'll guess weird ones. I'll be like, Steven?
Licorice.
And yeah, licorice. Okay. All right.
I'm
So
I'm gonna
you
pull
go.
up a picture of my other dog.
No, he just did his second.
So you went
Thanksgiving Day
and walked
and
with your dog.
walks with my dog. I'm gonna pull up a picture of my other dog, and I want you to give it a name.
Oh, he is that crazy phone.
I know he does. He loves talking about it too.
I really don't. I only talk about it when people say, "You got that crazy phone."
All right.
Gosh.
Well, it's just dead silent. So
Here you go.
Okay. That looks like a Stella
he did pick the right gender.
You did. Minnie.
Mini.
That's closer than Oscar.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
So now it's my turn, my pick,
It is.
and then you'll get 2 in a row.
Yes.
You worry me with 2 in a row. That's all right. Here we go. I'm going to be specific on this one.
Okay.
I feel like it's going to really hit home for people. It's going to be a nostalgia moment, and because of where we are in the country, it's going to really hit home.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Friday Night Lights, high school football.
That's what I wanted. I thought I was gonna get it. I thought
got
I
it
was gonna
made.
get it. We're just gonna give you. Should we just give you football?
Yeah.
Because like that way you get college football too, or do you specifically want?
I specifically want high school football
Okay.
because
Then I'm not gonna take. I would take college football, like the rest of football.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna because I feel like that just is weird. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna give. We'll put on the graphic or in the thing.
I'll take football then.
No. We'll put Friday Night Lights. But for the listeners who really listen, he's getting everything. But
Yeah.
specifically, you want Friday Night Lights. There's nothing like it.
What would you pick if you had to choose between the two for one of your fall draft? Would you pick high school or college? What's like the more fall thing?
For me, I was telling Russ this. I do the tailgate at Madison Central. We have a tent, and we go out there and do it. And it's such a fun time. Come out there if you ever want to. It's a great little.
How do I get in? Do I have?
You have a wristband. I have a million wristbands, so
Yeah, give me a wristband.
I'll give you a wristband. But so yeah, it's like a bunch of church people. We just like got one, and because everybody's already out there, and I always felt bad like mooching from their tents.
Yeah.
So we just got one like for the church, and it's a really good little thing. But it was like that is so fun to me. And high school football to me, this is what I was telling Ross, has just been a part of my life forever.
Mm-hmm.
I went to games when I was in elementary school. I started playing in 7th grade. And then whenever I got in the 9th grade, I was on varsity, and I was there every single Friday. And we were always pretty good, and so we would play in November. So it was like from August to November, I did Friday, like my Friday nights were football games. And so even in college, like we would be like, I coached some at a school in Pearl. And then whenever I wasn't coaching, we were like, oh, Cam Akers is playing at Clinton. Like, let's go see him. You know, we just did that. Or like, I remember there was like games where like, oh, if a big recruit was playing at Madison Central, we would go. And it was like, I didn't even have a reason to, but I just love that. So I think I do love college football with all my heart and soul, but I think it's.
But if we're talking about the fall season, I think
there's something about it.
Friday Night Light high school football hits different, and there was a TV show, and I think that sealed the deal for everybody.
Yeah. I thought football, I didn't think either one of you even wanted football on your list, and I thought I was going to get football on my next two, and I was like, that's going to lock it up. And now looking back at it, I should have taken it one, because y'all weren't taking, now that I've seen y'all picks, y'all weren't taking crunching on Lee's. That wasn't even on y'all's list, was it?
But I knew I was going to steal. I knew I was going to steal football from you, so I was excited about it.
So the list now is you've got football and PSLs, and you've got Walking with Dog
and
Thanksgiving Day,
and you got Crunchy Leaves.
I've got Crunching on Leaves when you walk. I have so many, and after the thing, we can do honorable mentions of like
absolutely.
Things. I want to go number 1. Or number two, wearing hoodies.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I love a hoodie, and it's so I love wearing like a hoodie.
I didn't think you'd steal one from me, but I think you just stole one.
You know what I mean? Like you can do a lot of things with a hoodie, like style wise. You can go like nicer hoodie with like khakis in a nicer shoe, or you can go
a full zip.
Yeah, or you could go hoodie with when it's in between, you can wear the shorts with the hoodie, and it still works. Or I love that pocket,
love a good
man.
hoodie.
I love that pocket in the front.
The kangaroo little
frocket. It's so good.
Not a frocket, but what a pouch.
Yeah, it's good. Wearing hoodies, and then let's see. I have a big list, and so I'm kind of struggling.
This is number 3 out of 4. I mean, you're already on your back half.
I know. I'll go Halloween. I'll take Halloween.
That's a good one.
I love Halloween. I love trick-or-treating. I've heard Tidewater trick-or-treating is pretty good, huh?
Oh, yeah. It's a wild time.
And so I'm excited about that.
You're going to enjoy it a lot.
I'm in the process of trying to convince Michaela to put ourselves into debt to be able to be the house that has the full-size candy bars.
Yeah.
I want to do it so bad. I've always wanted to do that. And she's
as a minister in a big trick-or-treat neighborhood, if you do full-size, no one will if you don't do full-size, nobody will respect you.
That's what I'm trying to tell her. And so we were at Sam's, and they had like all these, and I was like, Michaela, let's just go ahead and get them. We can start buying them now and stack them up. And she's like, Tyler, we can't afford to do that. That's so much money. And she's like, I don't know. I just think that's a cool move. I love my neighborhood. I love my neighbors. Shout out to God.
You probably finagle that into being a church expense because it's ministering your local.
I don't know. I want a person.
And that's a 50-50 with his executive pastor between being like, you're a dummy, no thanks, or being like, let's make it happen. Tyler's going to have the best house in the neighborhood.
Yeah, I don't know. I would just buy myself and just be like, this is my gift to my community. But Michaela's saying no, and I'll probably just have to eventually say, okay, sweetheart, and we'll do like
But what if you do like 80-20 fun size to full size, but then you hand deliver the full size to kids? Like if a kid really wants it, like if he really puts in the effort, then you're like, boom.
I've thought about being like, you got a good costume, here's a good one. You got a bad costume,
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, or you could just do a quote unquote full size thing that isn't expensive. Like, I love a blow pop. You mean that's a full? You mean it's not like I'm giving them anything. You just give out blow pops; those aren't expensive. I could do something like that. Anyways, so we'll go back to Halloween in general. I love dressing up. I think it's fun. Everybody, you get to, and I think there's something about Halloween to where I'm so glad that the church as a whole is like off this being like anti-Halloween thing. You know, there was like a big movement of that for a long time. There's still people are, and if that's you, feel free to be that way.
I don't really know where we are. We have a Halloween party.
And I do get that like there are culturally some aspects of Halloween that we need to stay away from as Christians, and I get that. However, if you want to be somebody that loves your neighbors, what other day is everyone out and going? Like, why not take advantage of that?
Outright
for the gospel?
rejecting Halloween is just dumb for people trying to share the gospel.
Yeah, to share the because it's like
It's such a good opportunity.
There's a meme that goes around that's going around now, and it was like this girl, and she's like, as Christians, we don't celebrate Halloween, but what we do is dress up and have fun and go trick or treating with our friends. And I'm like, that's Halloween.
The guy literally goes, otherwise known as Halloween.
Yeah. So that's like, I think Halloween's so fun. I think I love that you get to go and you are with your neighbors. You see, like, I didn't know there's this many kids in our neighborhood. That kind of stuff. I love that aspect of it. My mom's state park that she manages, like, they do a big Halloween festival.
Your
10,000.
mom manages a state park?
She's like the commissioner of a state park.
Well, drop the name of the state park.
Tanny Hill State Park. It's great. They have the camping spots. So you go and you trick or treat through the campgrounds. The camping spots have been sold out for the Halloween festival, which is the Saturday before Halloween, since like mid-August. People are camping in their campers until then to have their spot for Halloween.
No, they're not.
They are. They do it every year.
That's awesome.
And so
is it like the same people every year lock it down, or like people are fighting to get in there?
People have their spots that they're like, I've had this spot for 15 years, whatever. And but like 10,000 people come and do it. It's not like a little thing.
That's crazy.
And like, so they have like a whole fair out there. They have like food trucks, and I always get funnel cakes and caramel apples and all that kind of stuff. So
that's always been the interesting part to me about the difference between Alabama and Mississippi is we do very similar things, but in Alabama, everything is just either a little bit bigger or a lot of bit bigger just because there's so many more people in Alabama. Yeah. So something like that, like there's state parks that probably do something like that, but you're talking like a few hundred people. Yeah. And then over there, it's like, oh, we have 10,000 show up.
Oh, it's absolutely bananas. But anyways, yeah, so Halloween, and it's like, I don't know, like I said, I hope that's not a controversial pick.
No, not at all.
That's just
if it isn't, we'll just strike through it and say like Harvest Festival.
Yeah.
Well, that's another thing is like you have all those trunk or treats and stuff that I think are all such. It is, as a church, as a minister, there is so many opportunities to engage your community at Halloween.
Yeah. And
it's like, I don't want to waste that, even if I have to like not technically say it's Halloween if that's how people are. But
the one time, no, we've done it I think 2 times now. But the one I remember when we tried to hand out candy to trick or treaters at our house, we only had one kid or one like group of kids, and they were scared of dogs. And Flynn heard the door, and he's a big boy, and he immediately ran to the door and was like, "Who is it? What's going on?" And
he said that out loud.
Yeah, he did. It's crazy.
He doesn't bark. What's going on?
And Anna opened the door, and the kid was like at the bottom of our driveway, and she went, "I'm scared of dogs." So,
which is interesting. I figure your neighborhood would also be a trick-or-treat hub.
You'd think so, and you'd think that none of the kids would be afraid of dogs because literally every house has a dog that they take out on walks. It's crazy. So I don't know.
Maybe she had a bad experience with a dog.
Probably. Some of those people don't leash their dogs.
It is surprising how many people are just either really don't like dogs or are terrified of dogs. Yes. It's a higher percentage than you think it is.
Yeah.
You distracted me, and I was going to ask a question.
That was the plan.
With that, I can't remember what it was.
But yeah, so Halloween, there's so much about it. I love all of it.
Oh, I remember what it was.
Okay.
Matt, in a staff meeting, I think it was this past one, said trick or trunk.
He did.
And I straight up called him out on it. And I was like, that's not it.
Trick or trunk.
It sounds like a naughty dance move. All right, so I have one, and then Steven gets his last 2, correct?
Yep. Being number 3 is the way to go.
You like what you got?
Oh, this is fantastic.
You like the doubles?
Well, I know no one's going to steal mine.
I need to ask this. Does carving pumpkins go under Halloween?
No.
I think it does.
I don't think so.
When else do you do that?
Because that's one of his picks. So
no, it's really not. I've carved one pumpkin, and it was a disaster.
I love carving pumpkins. That's also in the Halloween thing, though, for me. Halloween encompasses carving pumpkins. You carve pumpkins for Halloween.
I don't know. Last time we vetoed something of Steven's, he got mad and brought in someone else to
If you want to take carving
drone
pumpkins...
racing?
I did not bring him in. He brought it up. He just happened to be one of my volunteers.
Yeah.
If you want to also take carving pumpkins, feel free. Just remember what I did for you with college football.
I agree. Same.
We do a pumpkin carving party, like contest for the students every year.
That sounds like a nightmare waiting to happen.
It's pretty hard to put on, but it's so fun. It was a lot easier when it was smaller, but the more kids you have, the more pumpkin guts are flying around and stuff. We're thinking about doing it outdoors this year.
Probably a good move.
Yeah.
How about seed spitting? You want to throw that in there?
Oh, I'm actually probably going to build. I have a guy at church who's going to help me. Probably going to build a pumpkin trebuchet, which is like a catapult.
He's homeschooled.
It's
we know
actually-
what a trebuchet is.
It's like a catapult.
It's like similar function, but it operates completely different.
Yeah, I know. But I've googled how to build them. I've looked at plans, and we're gonna
You got a problem there, Logan?
and we're gonna do a little.
Sorry,
pumpkin.
my mom told me that it's very different.
Do you know what the difference between a trebuchet and a catapult is?
A trebuchet has like a sling action,
Correct.
doesn't it? And a
It's sling
catapult is
action,
a
and
bucket.
catapult's just yeah.
So different.
Suck it, Steven.
So different.
Public school for the win.
I figured you probably did know the difference.
Yeah.
So
I read too many like fantasy novels to
Yeah.
not know what that is.
what I'm saying is, we're gonna do a little pumpkin chunking,
That's a great name.
and so I'm excited. Okay,
It's better than trick or trunking.
trick or
Trick or Trunk was terrible.
I kind of want that on a shirt.
All right, my third pick before Steven, you're not going to steal this, so I'm not worried about it.
I'm not worried either.
Well, you'll understand why in about 10 seconds why this is not going to be an issue.
I hope less than 10 seconds. You were literally about to say it. 10 seconds is a long time.
If you let them go, it would be less than 10 seconds.
10 seconds. Hunting season.
Ooh.
And if we're not
You're
okay,
gonna get votes on that, and
And-
I didn't even think about.
and
that.
if we're not okay doing all of hunting season, or it's the fall hunting season.
yeah, you don't have to say like deer
Perfect.
season, dove season,
Perfect.
duck season. When is ducks? That's spring.
It's late fall. You can start.
You can get all the hunting, the rut.
The rut is in December, which in Mississippi is fall. I wouldn't get turkey season, so that's in March, but
Yeah.
it's fine.
That's the only hunting I really like to do.
Turkey hunting.
Mhm.
Oh,
But I don't have a
interesting.
place out here.
It's tough out here.
I used to do every spring break. I would turkey hunt until I killed a turkey. That was what I did. throughout high
You
school.
have to know somebody. One, you have to know somebody, and two, you have to really know someone who likes to deer hunt but doesn't turkey hunt.
Which I do find there's more of those out here.
There is more,
Like there's a lot of people that are like, oh, I got a ton of turkeys on mine.
but usually somebody has like an Uncle Jimmy who's got the lockdown on the deer
Yeah.
spot, and it's like, don't you dare let someone turkey hunt out here, and it's nuts.
All right, so you got hunting season, Steven.
I'm pretty happy about
wrap
that.
up your mount,
You're number 3.
Mount Steven.
Fall weather. And no one's really picked that yet.
It's because we don't really have fall weather.
No, I like to pick Steven, but I'll tell you in a minute why I think that was a mistake on your part. But go ahead.
We're putting you down for fall weather.
I'm talking
That's
like,
a great pick.
I'm talking like the fall breeze. You
We
walk
understand.
outside on your back porch
Yeah.
and you don't sweat immediately.
It's great. It's a great pick.
Yeah.
But
But
that was your reason for picking walks with your dog.
not necessarily.
I thought it was. It was like it's now the weather's good, so I can walk with my dog.
That's an activity.
During
but it's
the weather.
but it's not it's kind of like okay, so the walking my dog is an activity that is a consequence, a choice made from the fall weather. The
That's
fall
what I
weather
mean.
itself is an aesthetic. It's kind of like just the vibes, you know?
I gotcha.
Vibe, Joe.
He said aesthetic and vibes. He worked both of those
I
into
did,
that
I did.
explanation.
And you're probably going to disagree with my last one, but I have an argument for
Everything?
Why I think
Oh.
everything. That's true. I do it. I try to have an opinion about everything. People hate me for it.
Nobody hates you, Steven. Don't say
I
that.
appreciate that. Christmas season, because technically, winter starts like 4 days before Christmas. So a lot
So your
of the
fourth
Christmas,
pick is Christmas.
the
Season.
the Christmas season.
Don't give him day.
No, I'm not taking day. The Christmas season, because Christmas, pretty much Christmas is the entire month of December.
Is December fall?
Yeah,
See,
December 21st is the first day of winter.
I understand that.
This is why I knew I'd get.
I understand. I'm not going to give you like any pushback on that. However, we all know
He's saying ball doesn't lie, and so it's going to show up
it's
in the
going to show.
votes.
You're not going to get votes for that.
I never get votes for anything. I'm not here to get votes. I'm here to be myself.
Oh my god.
Oh my God. Vibes and
That's
now-
why that's the talk of a loser who's never won one of these.
That's correct.
I'm just kidding. That was mean. I didn't mean it.
All
like
right,
that.
you did.
so Steven's officially locked in with Thanksgiving. Listen to it all together. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving Day, dog walks, fall weather, Christmas season.
That just sounds like a nice.
That's like
time.
all the same thing. He just hates the weather in the summer. Is what
That's
I'm
very
learning.
true. That's 100% true. Summer is.
Wait,
awful.
what was your third?
Fall weather.
Well, okay, so your first
Thanksgiving Day.
Thanksgiving Day, dog walks, fall weather, and Christmas.
So it's kind of like two very similar on the outside and two very similar on the inside.
okay, great.
It's better than my hiking destination list.
That was. That's not saying much, though.
It's saying a lot to me.
All right. So Tyler has your fourth pick, last pick.
No, you're next. And then I go last because I started. He just went
We
twice.
went
It
1,
goes
2,
back to you.
3. Oh, that's true. That's
You're
true.
always in the middle.
I wasn't ready. Let's see. My last fall pick is going to be. What in the world could it be? Give me some ideas.
No, that's later.
I have bad ideas.
No,
so
no,
I'm
no.
not
No,
gonna-
you got to come
Dang
up with
it.
one. This is the game.
I have 3 incredible ones. I'm gonna choke on my fourth one.
So what have your 3 been?
Pumpkin spice latte, Friday Night Lights, and hunting season.
That's a good list.
It is a good list.
It is a good list. What could it be?
Those are all technically activities. Do you
I
have
know.
any that's just kind of like the vibe or aesthetic of fall?
No, I don't care about that. I'm gonna mail this one in. The leaves changing color.
All right.
That was my backup in case you guys gave me too
That's
much
a good one.
crap over
I feel like that's
Christmas
going to play.
season.
It's gonna play. I'm not proud of myself though. I feel like that was kind of a you mailed it in.
Yeah. That's a good one though. I think
All right. Do you have a comment on it? Or are you moving into your fourth one already?
I have I mean, I wish that we had. Don't you wish it lasted longer? The leaves being different colors.
Yeah.
Like I think that you look at these like nice little slideshow and all that, and you look at we are 50 plus people at our church went on a trip to Maine one year,
Oh, they went and did it.
and they do the best trips ever. I always am like begging to like be like, if you need somebody to carry luggage or anything, let me go. And they're always like, haha, you can, but they never let me. Anyways, I was like, they were like, oh, we have to time it right. Because it's only like a week or so that
Yeah.
everything is real nice up there.
Vibrant.
So that's a good pick. But this year, is it going to do it? Because they're already dead.
Yeah, I don't know. Like pine straw's already mainly dropped.
That's what I mean. So
And
is it
so
gonna
Not
mess
that-
with it?
Not that pine straw changes colors. I don't know.
It does. It goes green to brown.
We need to talk to someone who's actually like an arborist or something and figure something out.
Next episode, we talk to an arborist. Tyler's back, and we bring on is it arborist? I
think-
know one. I know a guy who plants trees. Isn't that what that is?
Yeah, I think so.
He goes after they like clear cut.
I think technically an arborist is someone who
or is that,
cuts down trees, but I think they do both. Like you're
I
just
know
a
a
person who
guy-
specializes in trees.
I know a guy, and I haven't talked to him in probably 10 years, but I know a guy who what he does is after they clear cut a thing, he goes in if they want to replant them.
Oh, see, that may be under arborism.
But I feel like that's forester.
Yeah, well,
Something like
forest
Forestry?
I don't know. It's got to be the same thing. What's
All
your
right.
fourth pick?
Oh man, I don't know because I really was hoping to get football. That was one of mine that I wanted. I'm feeling great about all of them. I could take a really broad one.
I just thought of one. I know one of my honorable mentions.
I'll take a broad one because y'all can't get it anyways because the draft.
Yeah,
is
we're all
over.
locked in.
The food. And what I mean,
But you
by
got to give me some examples if
Okay.
you're going to do that.
food and beverages, and I might just if you need.
I don't
me-
know if you can take food and beverages.
I like
You can't take beverages.
You know
'cause
what?
That encroaches on PSL.
take it away. Take it away.
Oh, we're
Okay.
not doing food.
We're not doing food. Just give me soup.
That's a good one.
My honorable mention was going to be chili.
I love soups. Chili. Chili's a soup, right?
We'll allow it.
Yeah.
Chili. Chicken tortilla.
Technically,
white chicken
coffee
chili.
is a soup. Think about it.
I don't want to.
I don't want to think about that. White chicken chili. I love like a bisque, like a crab bisque. I love a broccoli cheddar. I love
Loaded potato.
loaded potato. I love regular potato. I love them all. There's a scene in Steinfeld where he goes,
The soup Nazi?
stop, Elaine. I gotta focus. I'm shifting into soup mode, and I share that on my Facebook every like November 1st, where it's like I'm shifting into soup mode. I don't know when that is. It pops up and I share it every year. But I love soup, and it's real good. There's your clip, Steven.
I love soup, and it's real good.
I Chili may be my favorite soup if we're allowed that chili is a soup.
You like beans in your chili?
No. Actually, I like a few beans. I don't like this nasty overload of beans that we.
Some people, is that? Is it because you're being cheap on the meat? And you need to fill it up?
I think so. But like I use a ton of meat in my chili is it's not very soupy. Like
you strike me as a deer meat chili guy.
I do like deer meat chili.
That sounds great.
But like, for example, some people do 2 to 3 cans of beans in like a crock pot of chili. That's ludicrous.
Yeah.
I will do 1 can tops. And sometimes I'll pour it in about 3/4 and be like, that's plenty. You get enough to get a little bit of bean smush. It's not really a crunch. But then some people are just eating beans with some meat thrown in.
Yep.
Tomato sauce and beans, essentially.
But what I was going to say is I do like a white chicken chili too.
White chicken chili is so good. But it's like, it's so sad that it gets so hot out here that you just can't do it. What it turns into is you start doing a bunch of dips in the summer because you're like, I can eat this a little thicker soup on a chip.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I love them all, and I like to go to Nuke's and get the soup of the day.
Yes.
And
Nuke's is a good soup destination.
It's so good. And chili is so fun when you get the crackers and you crumble them up and you put them in the chili, and then it gets so solid that you're like, this isn't even a soup anymore. This is just like I'm eating. You like saltines?
Yeah. Not really by themselves, but they go.
Oh, I'll eat a sleeve of saltines.
I'm more of a Captain's Wafer guy.
Really?
Yeah.
I like them too.
When I was so back in college, I was doing paleo diet stuff, so I wasn't eating bread basically. And it was August, and I went to Wendy's and I got I think I got like a double cheeseburger without the bread or anything, and then I got chili. And the girl refused to give me the chili. She said, "Boy, that's gonna spoil in your stomach." I said, "That's not how that works." And she's like, "It's so hot, it's gonna spoil in your stomach. It's gonna get sour and make you sick." And I was like, "Please give me the chili." She was like, "Okay, don't come crying to me." Like I had to argue with her to get the chili. Oh yeah, she gave it to me eventually.
No, did it make you sick?
No.
Had you already paid for it?
That's a good question.
So like, were you fighting with her?
I was
in
at
the speaker or at the window?
No, I was at the second window.
So you'd probably already paid for it.
That's what I'm thinking too.
Yeah.
I just like picture this. You wake up. It's Saturday morning.
Mm-hmm.
You go outside. You got your hoodie on, and you're
walking your dog.
You're walking your dog
in the fall weather.
In the fall weather, you're crunching on some leaves as you go.
Sipping a PSL.
Yeah, maybe you're sipping on a pumpkin spice latte, and you get back home and you're like, "What's Mama in there cooking?" And she's in there. She's chopping up stuff, and she's browning the meat in the skillet, and you go, "Oh, it's chili day." And you didn't remember, but y'all are going to a party tonight, and you're going to watch the game, and your job was to bring chili. And you're like, oh my goodness, we get to eat chili tonight. That is the best feeling in the world.
It's a good feeling.
I don't know about the best feeling. There's a lot of good feelings.
That's up there.
But it's on the list.
That's a top 5.
It's on the list.
It's a good vibe.
Great vibes. Chili.
Yeah. So you said sleeve of saltines with your chili.
No,
I'll just eat.
No, I go saltines with them, but I'll eat separately. I'll just eat a sleeve of saltines sitting there watching TV.
But what is your?
I love them.
Do you have a carb source with your chili, or are you straight chili? And then if so, what is your carb source?
Oh, I'll put saltines in there. If they got cornbread, I'll do cornbread. I love cornbread. You'll put that in there. You can do. I'm a big cheese in there. Give me cheese. So much cheese.
I don't like sour cream though.
I don't like sour cream either. I got my dairy with the cheese. I don't need any more.
I agree.
Our senior pastor is obsessed with sour cream.
Did not know that.
Loves it.
We went to dinner.
He gets mad at me because I say I don't like sour cream. He goes, "Oh, what?"
That's how he reacted when I said that Bluey was an okay show.
Yeah, well, you deserve that because Bluey's an incredible show.
I'm not saying it's bad.
Just stop it.
I'm not saying it's
bad.
Stop
it. Just stop
it.
I swear, parents that like Bluey feel like they are in a cult. Because if you say anything other than it is the most immaculate thing I've ever seen on television, they go after you.
That's just parents who like truth. So
the problem is not that other people are obsessed in a cult of Bluey. It's that you are in the cult of not liking Bluey.
No.
Yeah.
I never said,
you want everybody to know.
No.
You like to be a contrarian.
No. I don't. I really don't.
I do.
It was mentioned before a staff meeting. Bluey got mentioned, and I said, "Oh, I watched a couple episodes with Peter. It was cute." Like I didn't say it was bad.
See, but that's condescending.
It's
what he
no,
said.
no, and everybody was like,
Yeah.
it was incredible. And I was
Not
like,
was,
it
is.
was fine. It was a good show, but I just don't get the hype.
It's not a regret. It's not a regret for me, but one of the biggest heartbreaks of my life is we got rid of Disney Plus, and it's because it's not because, but I'm upset because now I can't watch Bluey.
Yeah. All right, let's go through some honorable mentions. I have a million.
Surprised.
My side was cornbread, by the way. I only eat chili with cornbread. Megan's a big rice person.
Rice?
She puts but she has a real soupy chili, and she'll pour it over rice.
So it's almost like gumbo or jambalaya, whichever one of those.
More like gumbo.
Yeah. I don't know what the difference is between a jumbo and a
jambalaya. Jambalaya is mixed in already with the rice. Gumbo is like you have a scoop of rice.
Is that really the difference? I've never known that was.
Gumbo is like a soup. It's like
what is jambalaya? I thought it was a soup.
No, it's more like a.
Do I get that as well in soups?
You get whatever you want.
Jambalaya is more.
If they know that, if the listeners know that, then I'm winning this thing.
So jambalaya
I'm not here to win.
I'm
here
to win.
Jambalaya is dirty rice with the meat already mixed into it. It's more like a rice dish.
Yeah.
Then you have like etouffee, which is a creamy meat like soup. It's more like a chowder or bisque almost. That's probably insulting to people. And you pour that over rice. Gumbo is like a soup with meat in it that you pour over rice.
That makes sense. I did not know that distinction.
Same ingredients, but it's all prepared differently.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, look at this. I googled.
Did I get it right?
Difference in gumbo and jambalaya. The main difference between these two dishes is their use of rice.
Bam.
Good job. No one mentioned the fare.
I don't like the fare.
I don't either, but I just figured somebody would.
I like a corn dog at the fair.
Yeah. Food at the fair is great.
That's what you're getting, a corn dog, a pronto pup. That's what you're about.
Buddy, do I get a pronto pup? And a funnel cake. I love funnel cakes. Love caramel apples. Anyways.
Are we going for lunch when they're open?
Sure.
Let's make it happen.
That was like my favorite staff lunch ever. We went to staff meeting and they were just like, "Y'all want to all go to the fair?" And I was like,
"It's a good lunch spot."
Apple cider was one I wanted to go with, but I just didn't think it played. I love apple cider.
That's great. It's a great one.
My family never did. I don't think I may have had apple cider once in my life.
Here is one that I think would do well, and I maybe should have went with it in front of soups, but this year it just isn't going to happen. Bonfires.
Yeah.
S'mores.
Classic.
Like there's nothing like a bonfire. You're out there and you're just sitting around.
But when I think
talking.
of s'mores, I think of camping. I don't think of fall. Like you could camp in the summer or spring
and still do s'mores.
Yeah,
that's fine. I didn't go with it.
But that's my personal thing.
That's why. Maybe that's why I didn't.
I think it plays in both.
Yeah, hot chocolate.
Absolutely.
I almost went with hot chocolate.
That was on my list as well.
Man, speaking of Friday Night Lights, I always get a hot dog and hot chocolate when I go. When it's cold.
Oh,
you like hot dogs, really? Never know.
Yeah,
never know.
But hot dogs, hot chocolate's good. Pumpkin pie. I almost just went pie, but I love pumpkin pie.
I don't like pumpkin pie.
I used to not like pumpkin pie, but
I'd rather have a sweet potato pie than a pumpkin pie.
That means.
Yeah,
that means you like pumpkin pie.
That's not
because
true.
It's the same thing.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. I like sweet potato pie too because I don't know the difference when I eat it.
Huge texture difference.
And one tastes like pumpkin.
Yeah.
Buddy, you're crazy. They're the same pie.
Your mom has fed you the same dish your whole life and called it different things.
No, I have eaten it a lot of places. I'll be at a Thanksgiving, and now I've been to tons of Thanksgivings, and I'm getting a pie, and it's an orange substance, and I'm eating it, and I don't know what it is until I'm done. And then I ask, "That was good. Who made it?" And they're like, "That was me." And I'm like, "What was it?" And then they say it. That's the only way I know. And they're both great.
So we have to do a follow episode with Tyler again, following up on this. That is the pumpkin pie, sweet potato pie version of the biscuit episode.
Y'all are acting like they're not the same. They're the same everything. They're the same flavor profile. They're the same color. They're the same texture. They're the same look.
I'll give you every single thing that you said except for the taste. They taste different.
No, they don't. They taste like cinnamon and brown sugar and whatever they taste like, pumpkin, and they're the same.
Except for that one tastes like pumpkin with cinnamon sugar on it. One tastes like sweet potato with cinnamon sugar on it.
I did Google pumpkin pie and sweet potato pie. Do you want me to
read it?
Okay. Sweet potato pie and pumpkin pie are very similar in taste and texture while having distinct differences. Sweet potato pie is traditionally sweeter with a light filling and heavy texture, while pumpkin pies are dense, less sweet in flavor, and present a creamy.
Okay,
texture.
that was one of the worst articles ever. It said they are very similar in taste and texture, except for they taste different and they have a different texture.
You told me to read it.
I wasn't blaming you. I'm blaming whoever the author of that article was.
That was that was a
they,
spruce article.
They look the same and taste the same and they feel the same, except for the fact that they taste different and they're also a vastly different texture.
Yeah.
You know what I didn't know was a thing until very recently? I went to Sullivan's for a plate lunch, and I asked for sweet potatoes. They said, that's not sweet potatoes. I said, okay, whatever. Yams, whatever. And they said, no, that's carrot souffle. And I said, what?
Another thing.
What the heck is that? And they went, it's carrot souffle.
Did you get it?
No. But someone,
See, I bet if they wouldn't have told you that, you'd have been like, oh, that was sweet potatoes.
No.
Because they're all the same thing.
No.
Are you kidding me?
I'm saying when you
think
make 'em-
carrots and sweet potatoes are the same
I
thing?
No.
He just thinks
When
that
you
orange
make-
foods are the same.
When you prepare them like that, when you bake them and then you mix them with sugar and cinnamon and butter and then you put them in something, they're the same.
The person that did get it said that it was amazing. I couldn't tell if he was joking or not.
No, he was. I thought Stacy got it.
Stacy got it, but Michael tried it.
And this has been pumpkin
Yeah,
talk.
but Michael was obsessed. He said that one of his favorite foods is carrot souffle.
I have never had carrot souffle.
Okay. Another
trying.
honorable mention. I almost just went this. I was going to say either decor. I love the decor. You put the little pumpkins out, the fake pumpkins on the table, the little cornucopias, all that. Or scarecrows. I love seeing scarecrows in people's yards. But not the scary ones, the fun ones with the smile.
Yeah.
I love those.
Yeah.
When you just see a you put them on there. And my wife, when we moved, she tried to get rid of our scarecrows. And I was like, we need these for our yard when it gets a little colder out. I just love a scarecrow. Because does anybody actually use them to scare crows?
Zero.
No, they don't. They probably used to, but it's just so fun.
And the movie Jeepers Creepers.
I thought about going to scary movies, but I don't like scary movies.
I don't either.
I bet you're a scary movie guy.
I'm not.
Really?
Yeah.
I
don't hate them, but
I can't watch them. I get so scared. I get so terrified of scary movies.
Scary movies are dumb, but scary stories and like internet horror stories and stuff, those are interesting.
Do you ever just feel, I get really scared at movies too. Do you ever just feel so stupid when you're watching those movies and you're like, I can walk away and this is no longer going to be a thing for me, yet I am sitting here and I'm scared.
Oh yeah.
And you're like, why am I scared? I can turn away.
No,
I can turn this TV off and the monster's gone, but it's scaring me.
Here's how stupid I feel. I'll be watching a movie and
that could be the name of a segment. Here's how stupid I feel with Logan and Tyler.
And you know a jump scare's about to happen. The music is playing. They're walking down a hallway. They're moving real slow. And I'm like, I know it's coming, yet I will be doing this, watching it, or looking away, waiting for it to go, bah! And then I'll look back because I just can't stand jump scares.
I went to see the remake of It in theaters with a couple friends.
How'd you like it?
It was a fine film.
How'd you
But
like it?
But
yeah.
there's a
Pun
part
intended.
where one of the characters is looking here, and she is defined on the left of the shot, and it's the most obvious wound up jump scare you've ever seen, because she's gonna turn
And it's gonna
the
be
camera shot's gonna pan, and then clown. Everyone in the theater was so shocked by that and screamed.
Yeah.
And I was like, how? It's just dumb to me. It's so
But see, you're looking at it like, I knew that was coming. That's so dumb. I'm the one that's looking at it like, I know it's coming, and I'm still going to scream like a girl. Because I just hate it. I don't like it.
Something they're doing, I think, intentionally, and because they don't really want to scare you. They want to get you with the anticipation of the scare. And that's why I saw the Joker with Joaquin Phoenix. And the reason I thought I got scared or was made uneasy by that entire movie,
that whole movie is
because it's the same thing.
What'd you say? It's amazing.
That whole movie is meant to make you feel.
It's like
wrong.
you're waiting for something to see something that's gonna scare you or gonna be uncomfortable.
It's just uncomfortable,
and it never really happens. But you're doing, you're on the edge of your seat, like, oh, he's about to do something bad, or he's gonna do, and the payoff never comes, and then it goes to a different scene, and you think you never get it's almost like the payoff of the jump scare is, okay, at least now the clown's on the screen, and now I can be, if the clown, the thing with It, I saw it too, was When it was on the screen, you weren't scared. It was whenever he was off the screen and you're wondering, when's he going to be here?
Yeah.
That's the part that scares you.
It was just a good movie too. Like, it was a good story.
It or Joker?
No, Joker's horrible.
Oh, interesting.
Hot take. Okay, another.
Wait. Last thing I was gonna say is the scariest movie I ever saw, which probably didn't scare some people. I think it was called The Strangers. It's one of those where they're in a cabin. But the scariest part of it was because they do those wide shots where they're in the cabin and then the person just appears and it'll just sit in the background. You're like, that thing is right there.
Is it the one where they have like the bags over their heads?
Yes.
That is, in my opinion, one of the scariest movies ever because like there's a scene
where they play the crazy country music.
Well, I'm talking about like they have the couple like tied up in the house and it shows that it's like broad daylight outside.
Oh yeah.
And it's like that's breaking the rules. You're not supposed to do that. Like bad things can't happen during the day.
Yes.
And
that movie was based off a true story, which just makes it terrifying.
Yeah. Those are the ones that can get me. Is very like when I was a kid. This is so dumb. You know, Scream, Ghostface. Yes. He scared the crap out of me because he was just a guy with a knife that moved fast. When you watch it as an adult, he's hilarious because he just pratfalls constantly.
Which means what?
Means that when he's like chasing after somebody, he trips and falls clumsily. Like he trips over his own legs. Like it's funny to watch him chase people today as an adult.
I've never seen the original Scream.
It's very good. It's very good.
Well, it's like all those movies, like Friday 13th, Michael Myers. Is it the same thing? No.
No. Halloween is Michael Myers. They're very similar.
I think the thing of those that is scary is you never see them go quickly, like run.
Yeah.
But they still catch you.
See, to me,
and you're like, how does that happen?
To me, the things that move fast are always scarier than the slow things. Like
World War Z.
Absolutely. Zombies that move fast, infinitely more terrifying than like lurking, like I'll eat your brain zombies.
See, because that's what my thing is always in a zombie thing or in a scary movie setting. I'm always like, if these things keep scaring me, I'm just going to go get a couple friends and stand in the middle of a football field and be like, they can't sneak up on us. Mm-hmm. And be like, we're going to have guns and we're going to be back to back facing all four directions. And we're like,
going to town.
Or like, especially if it's one person, because it's like, they're not, I guess then they could shoot you. But if it's like one of these things that just has a knife or whatever, it's like, I'm going to stand in the middle of the football field and be like, I can see where you're coming from.
Right.
The scary part is they get in a closet. And I know that's the movies. But it's like, I'm going to hide in this chifforobe. And you're like.
In a what?
Chifforobe. You know what that is? It's like a.
No.
It's like a dresser. You know.
Chest of drawers.
Chester drawers.
Chester drawers.
I like saying Chester drawers. I thought that's what it was. But anyways, that's what they're gonna hide. I'm gonna hide under this piano, and you're like, buddy, that's where they're looking.
The slow moving, scary movie entities are always like bulletproof, though. So.
Yeah. But I'm saying at least
but not
then
Walking Dead. They're not.
You can run away,
right? Yeah,
because at least you can see them,
right?
And like I can keep my distance. Because like if I'm in the middle of the football field, you get in the end zone. I'm gonna run to the other end zone, and then like as you get closer to me, I'm gonna go to the sideline.
I would love to see a horror movie starring
Tyler.
Just be a lot of.
He's getting man coverage with a zombie, and he's evading all day.
Like, we can do something better here. All right. Next honorable mention: a hayride. I love a hayride.
I almost said like pumpkin patch, hayride.
Pumpkin patch, hayride, fall festivals.
Yep.
Those things I love. I wish like there were more fall festivals around.
Yeah.
Every church does one.
I know, but like I just think that I wish there was like you watch Parks and Rec?
Harvest Festival.
I wish there was that, like a huge one. And I guess that is the fair. But,
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
You got any more? Y'all got any more honorable mentions?
I'm good. I feel good about it.
I can't think of any. I feel like there's more.
Also
I keep wanting to say ice cream, but I think I just eat ice cream all year.
Yeah.
I just love ice cream so much.
How long is this? Like 2 hours?
Hour 25.
This is nothing.
My thing is, if you don't like it, you don't have to listen. We're having fun. I'm having a great time.
It's awesome.
I thought about doing just fashion in general, but I got hoodies because I thought hoodies
is the
it's the
best.
staple.
It is.
But
I like a good sweater.
A sweater, a cardigan,
long sleeve t-shirt. Down here, what sweater weather is for people up north is just long sleeve t-shirt weather down here.
I also like to grow out my beard a little bit. I mean, if y'all don't see me that often, Logan probably gets alarmed because like feel like I have a different look all the time with like hair and facial hair. Like maybe like because you see me maybe once a month, and I'm like, you don't know, like, is he gonna have a beard?
But it is very rare. But I guess it's at the end of the year when the beard goes from just here to kind of down a little bit. I guess you do grow it out.
I don't ever trim my beard. It's either I'm growing it out to see how long I'll get it, or I'm going clean shaven. And then like my hair, it's like I'm either gonna grow it out or I'm gonna buzz it off. Like it's just
put sun in it.
Yeah, or put sun in it and it looks bright.
Saying that fast is hard to do. Sunning in it.
Which was not the consequences were not intended. But anyway,
does that have to be in the sun, or can you just spray it in your hair and go about your day?
The sun does it. It's like it makes the sunlight. I think it's just like acidic, and then it does something probably not healthy for your hair. But I didn't think it worked, and it did, and now I have like frosted tips as it's grown out because I had the buzz cut when I did it.
Nice.
And so I was thinking I'll just buzz it again, and then I was like, oh no, I'm gonna grow it out, and then I'm like, oh, I didn't realize until it's about this length. And every Wednesday and Sunday at church, all the kids are like, did you get frosted tips?
Yes, I did.
And are making fun of me, and it's bad. What were you saying?
I think you were trying to put a bow on this.
I don't remember. No, we're talking about fashion.
That's right.
Yeah.
I love when I grow my beard out and then can wear a beanie.
You feel like you just really you're making it happen.
I'm a beanie guy. So I made a deal with my friend Phil. I told him
shout out Phil.
Every day this winter that's under 45 degrees for the high, I'm wearing a beanie every day. Absolutely. I'm gonna check the weather, and that's my like. If it's as high as 44, boom, beanie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's like 4 days.
That's not 4 days. We had that week last year that was like 4 degrees as a high for like 2 weeks.
Whatever. Agree to disagree. I don't disagree
just like,
with
oh
you.
yeah, I remember that, and I don't want to admit I'm wrong.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly.
Should I go 50 degrees then? Anything in the 40s? I go.
No, I agree with what you said.
It's a sound strategy, but
I'll go. You know what? I'll say it. In the 40s, beanie on my head.
I saw a guy at the Healthplex last week. So it went from, it was cooler. It was 95 instead of 105.
Oh, wow.
And he was wearing joggers and a beanie walking around the walking track inside the Healthplex.
Do you think he's doing male pattern baldness?
He was older. He was probably in his 50s. But he was doing the hipster beanie, kind of like the off the back kind of thing. Here's a question.
Maybe there was a rat controlling his hair underneath that beanie or something like Ratatouille style.
Is it Ratatouille but for bodybuilding?
Yeah.
It's just like a jacked mouse under there.
One, he was walking, and bodybuilders don't do that. How do you feel about long hair? Like, would you ever grow like a flow?
That's what I'm doing.
Oh, so you're growing it out.
I'm growing it out. I told Michaela I want to look like Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible 2.
Ooh, that's a choice.
It's a choice, isn't it?
That's some good hair.
I don't think I'll be able to do it.
But that's going to take you like 6 months. Do you not think in a month you'll say, I'm kind of tired of this, I'm going to go?
Well, that was the thing. So I cut the sides of it the other day because it got where it was just like this.
Where it's poofy.
And I didn't like that per se. And so I cut the sides and left the top, and I was consulting my barber. And he said, we'll kind of just keep trimming the sides, and then as it gets longer, eventually we'll just let the sides go a little. And then like stop going as far down when we.
Who's your barber? You made me shout out.
His name's Matt Heath. He's the Mississippi man, and he is such a good guy. He is. He's got the best mustache you've seen.
People really like that place.
It's good. It's one of those things. I started going to him. He's been Russ's barber for forever. Russ has followed him from a few different barbershops and stuff, and it's a cool little place. They got a pool table in the back. You can go do pool if you like pool. And so it's a fun time. I like it just because he is very personable. He does a great job remembering what to do. Cutting he cuts it the same. I don't have to worry about is this time it's gonna be different than last time. He remembers. I don't have to reintroduce myself. He knows who I am, and I value that a lot. He remembers things how's y'all's house? Y'all just bought out, that kind of stuff, which is probably basic barber stuff, but I've never had someone that was really good at just being that person.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I love having a barber.
Yeah.
Instead of just being a walk-in and saying who's free? It's
I used to go to a girl. The only other one I've ever had, I had a guy in Jackson that cut my hair for a while. I just didn't, it was just a lot for me to go down there, and so I was looking for a change. And then, but when I was in Birmingham, I had this girl named Corvette.
Classic.
And she cut my hair. And she was in a Great Clips where everybody would just go in there and you just do that. You say, I want a haircut. They're 10-minute wait. You take whoever is free first. You'd walk in there, say, hey, I need a haircut. They'd be like, okay, we're ready now. And I'd be like, oh, can I get Corvette? And they're like, oh, yeah, it's going to be a 2-hour wait. And you'd look in the waiting room and there'd be 15 people in there all waiting on her, and all the other Great Clips employees were just like, this is sad. And you'd be like, okay.
That's when Corvette needs to start her own place.
That's what I always
and
told
make
her.
all the money.
I always told her that because I was like, you realize you have clients that would go with you.
Yeah.
If you started, or if you just went.
They're not brand loyal to Great Clips.
But I think the thing was with that is like it's probably like more stable with insurance and stuff, working for a big company like that.
Oh, I'm
and
sure.
So that's what I always thought, and it's like stable of like it's probably more like you know what you're getting paid besides whatever. I don't know. I'm not blaming Corvette for her life choices. I will say though.
You think the
She does
possibility was there?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, because I'm telling you, it would be 10 people in the waiting room waiting on, and everybody else is free, and you're just waiting on her. The
wildest time, the part that really cemented for me, I want my own barber, is 2 times in a row. I had 2 different hair cutters, barbers, and the way that I get my hair cut is I get it tapered on the back and sides. It goes from like a 1.5 or a 2 down to like skin. 2 times in a row. I said I want it tapered, start it like a 2 and go down. And both of them said, so you want it to be shorter towards the top of your head and longer towards the bottom? And I was like, no.
That's a haircut that no one's done ever.
Who is saying that? Who wants a tapered haircut long or short to long? It's like an anti-fryer haircut. And after that, I was like, I need someone who actually knows how to cut hair and knows like, okay, he says this, which
Surely
one I think
he's not a lunatic that wants a 1 on top and a like down to his shoulders.
Yes, it was crazy.
Yeah, that is. I do like to. I just feel like maybe it's kind of what you're saying too. I just feel like I'm bad at describing what I want, and so I like to like once we learn this is what we want, I can just come here and you just do it. Also, he keeps giving us the
yawn,
the deep breath of which is like when your wife won't leave somewhere and you're like,
I'm so sorry.
All right,
that I yawned.
You've done it like 5 times. Not yawning. You're giving us the vibes of like, please stop talking. I have to edit this.
You know what?
I don't edit this.
You know what you're.
You don't edit it at all.
You know what you're.
Unless if somebody does. Unless if I do something stupid and I want it removed.
That's the only part you don't take it out for the guest. That's
if they ask me.
That's comforting.
If they ask me to remove it and they're serious.
But you know what you are adding to this? You're adding a vibes counter. Every time one of you have said vibes, we're putting the counter in.
Do I say vibes?
You've said it so much ever since he said it. You just said
you've probably said it more than I have.
You said he's dropping the vibes.
Oh, that makes me uncomfortable that I wasn't aware of that.
You weren't catching it.
Yeah.
I was aware that I was saying the word crushed. So like somebody would do something like, dude, crushed. And then I realized it, and I'm like, that's not something I want to be known for, is the guy who says crushed.
That's a tough one. It's something that you don't get until you start preaching a lot too. When you start preaching, then you realize, oh, I use the same illustrations or the same application every week.
Yes.
Like, oh, so this might be my one I had to get away from was like I used to say all the time. Like for you, it might be like at the lunch table,
everyone uses the lunch table.
And it's like, I'm like, I say the lunch table every week. And then I like one time was like, does that apply to y'all? They're like, we have to sit where they tell us. And I was like, ooh. I'm like, so like I've been using this for like 2 years and y'all didn't even. So yeah.
I feel like you are not a newbie youth pastor when you get away from the lunch table one, because that's what everyone uses. And then,
it's good. I mean, that is an easy, you're trying to get an easy step for them to be like, how do I apply this? And the easiest way I know to apply the like love your neighbors is you're in the lunchroom, you see a kid sitting by himself, invite him to sit with you. That is a good application. But once they hear that 15 times, they're like, hey, I get it, Tyler.
Then you have to say like during your break. That's what you have to go with, because then you really get to choose who you sit with or talk to or whatever.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a hard one. And then I think the one that I'm say a lot is literally, trying to get away from literally.
Literally is tough.
Literally, it's so hard to get away from because it works in every context. In literally every context, you can say it like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like you can just use literally all the time. So I'm trying to stop that.
The one that I'm trying to get my in-laws away from, just actively trying to just butcher them in it, is it doesn't matter what you do. When you start a new conversation, they say, that's so random. And then they answer what you're saying. And I'm like, in a sense, it's random because I'm starting a new conversation. But in that sense, everything's random. And so it's really just you weren't expecting me to talk. And so they're like, that's so random that you asked that.
I have one friend who actually calls me out on my stuff. And
is it Phil?
No, it's our video guy, Jake. And I'll say, I mean, can I be real?
I hope so.
And I'll say that, like, I'll be like, can I be real?
Oh, that's what you were saying.
Yeah, I'll say all the time, like, if I'm honest, let's say, and I probably said it today, like, if I'm honest, the part about fall that I like the most, or if I'm being real, and he's like, hey, you can just talk. You don't have to, like, tell me you're about to tell me the truth. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then he said that, and I realized I say that all the time. And like now I'll catch myself typing it like in a text, and then I'll just like delete it. And I'm like, oh, this message still works without that dumb saying at the top of it.
You just save like 45 characters.
45.
I just said a number. There's
Yeah,
Steven doesn't like me very much.
I was and probably still am unknowingly a big literally guy. I would say a lot, and then I spent time really trying to get rid of it. But
so yeah, and then I mean the one that people say on stage a lot is like, you don't want to say that.
yes.
It's not good. I think that part is when you're on stage getting used to silence, because you say like when you're trying to think,
Right.
and it's a filler word, so there's not 2 seconds of silence before you find the right word. But what you learn is if you're talking and you pause for a second, that doesn't make everybody uncomfortable.
You know where I've had to relearn that is on a podcast, because on stage I have no issue sitting for it, like letting it marinate for a second. On a podcast, if we were to just stop talking, it makes me feel so wildly uncomfortable.
Have you ever been listening to a podcast and they do that, and then you like pick up your phone?
Yeah.
Like, why did it pause? Like, are you?
I do that.
Yeah.
That is something I will edit. If there's a really long pause, I will cut out the pause.
Well, I'm more talking about like in conversation. I talk fast, but sometimes I need to get ahead of myself, and I need to just say, wait, okay, this is what I mean. Instead of saying like this or like, it's
Right.
like just wait a second and then clarify.
Yeah, I feel like I pause all the time whenever I talk in podcasts.
How hard is it now that we're talking about this to like pause or
Yeah,
not?
we're
try not to
breaking
think about
walls
it.
here.
Yeah,
Okay, well, Steven, how bad do you want us to stop doing this podcast?
I'm having a great time.
Now you're pushing it. You're trying to push him to not be happy about it.
I just want this. I could go for 4 hours. I love.
You just
talking
want
y'all.
to be the longest podcast.
What's the longest one y'all done?
You've probably beat it at this point.
Hold on.
You're making something about you brings out the specificity in him, where he's like, I want to tell Tyler the exact right answer.
He's the only one that has bothered to ask.
Oh my god!
The only one who cares, Logan.
World's smallest violin over here.
That was funny. That was a weird laugh by me.
What town in Alabama?
You
did
have
you grow
beaten
up
the
in?
longest podcast by like 2 minutes.
Who was it?
It was Danny Wagner.
Have y'all thought it? Can I give y'all some ideas of people I would have on?
Absolutely.
Y'all should have
You've
on.
won. You don't have to keep.
Y'all should have on. I think y'all should go for this. Start having on the weirdest jobs in your congregation. Who's the weirdest job? Like, what is a weird job? You know anybody that does like septic tanks?
You want me to be the Mike Rowe of Ridgecrest?
Yes, just be like, hey, like instead of, you don't have to do it. Let's just talk about your job. Like, what's something crazy you've seen? You've done.
I'm into it.
I mean, like, oh, you're a mortician, or if you are I do a chicken farm.
I can't really think of anyone that has a weird job.
Yeah.
Well, I had lunch with a guy the other day that works for a company, or he's like the CEO of a company or CFO or whatever, or I don't know what he does. He's like vice president. He's up there.
Yeah.
He's not doing it. They make the little packets that go in beef jerkies, the moisture packets.
The silica gels.
He makes those.
Interesting.
That's what his company does.
That's cool.
And so I was like, and I kept wanting to be like, I could talk to you about what that means for like an hour, but I'm sure you don't want to talk about that.
But the thing is, if he's an executive level, he probably enjoys talking about it.
Yeah, he's a chemical engineer. Was like his like.
So he's probably not the CFO.
I don't know, not financial. Yeah. He's probably more.
He's probably
he's in charge of it. I don't know.
Yeah. He may be chief operations.
I don't know I don't know his title. He
COO.
told me, but I don't remember it. I just am, like, as soon as he said those packets, my mind's like racing. I'm like, I don't know what's in them. Why can't you eat them? What happens if you eat them? Do they really do anything?
It sucks all the water out of your body and you die.
How many of them could I eat? You know,
I think it's 0.
that's just not true. There's no
Ballpark.
way.
How many of those do you think I could eat before I die?
Don't you hate it when you're meeting somebody, or especially if you meet like a group of people and they're like, "Hey, this is Logan," da 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 da, and as soon as they introduce themselves, you're like, I don't remember any of your names. That happens to me all the time.
All the time.
It's the worst.
Yep. It's hard. That's the.
Wait, what are my other ideas? Who are my other guests I should bring? Because we've
got people with interesting hobbies.
We've done interesting hobbies, and church members have an open invitation. We reserve the right to say no.
Yeah.
But you have an open invitation.
I think that you go and you find people that do even stuff that you don't think is interesting, but you know that they're very good at that job. So even if it's like, I'm an accountant, which is, I'm friends with a lot of accountants, got to be the most boring job ever. But like, even talking to somebody about, hey,
who's just jazzed up about it,
that, and just like, maybe you don't get into like the details of their work, but it's like, hey, you sit there and you're on a computer all day and you are doing numbers. Like, how do you keep yourself like mentally in it? How do you, like, do you listen to podcasts? What do you listen to? What is your time? And like, how do you fit in like reading scripture into your day? Like that kind of stuff, where I think it's like, you could find out so many, because I think too, the problem that arises in church a lot of times is like, people really struggle with like, how do I be a Christian blank? Like a Christian lawyer or Christian dentist or so if you get somebody that you know that does a good job of that, and you're like, hey, how do you do that? Or like, what does it look like? Like, what do you like to do during this season, like tax season for an accountant? It's like super busy. Like, how do you stay like grounded in that time? Like that kind of stuff.
We do have a guy who's worked at the Milwaukee plant for decades, and I think now he does like drill bits. Like he runs the machine that makes drill bits. And my brain, and probably your brain's the same, where if we had to stay still and just do a certain number of movements for 8 hours a day, we'd probably go jump off a bridge.
Well, sometimes I don't see. Yeah, so it's like stuff like that. Like, hey, why is your brain wired to where that is something that you love? And like for a lot of people, it's like, hey, I love that my job is a job, and when I go home, I don't think about my job.
Which is not what we do.
No, that's the thing. It's like, I think that that's something that really runs a lot of people out of ministry, is that they don't like the fact that like, I'm never not who I am, like at work. Like there isn't like I can go here and I don't have to, if I see, you know what I mean? I'm like, I love my job and I love like how I serve the people and everything, but it's like, there is no off. And so sometimes, like another Parks and Rec reference, you look at, there's a character on there, and he, at the end of the season, he that retires, Larry, Jerry,
Gary,
yeah,
Gergich.
And so when he retires, they found like a thing where he was like, these were his goals at the beginning of his career, and his goal, he had all these goals. He wanted to meet the mayor, he wanted to have a building named after him, whatever. And he was like, they felt so bad for him, and he was like, they went to his house, and he was like, do you not see that like the reason I'm in government work is it stayed there, and I get holidays off, I get paid time, and I like look at all these pictures of me and my family and all this stuff that I did outside of work, that I loved having a job that was just a job. And I was like, that is so much wisdom in that, where I'm like, think about that, of like some people, you're like, why, how could you do that? Because our jobs are so demanding, and so like we're doing it all the time, that some people are like, hey, I love my family, I love going to this every weekend and doing that, and I love the memories I'm making in that, and like that's what I love about my job, is that it allows me to do this.
Right.
Like this is just a necessary like evil of like, I have to do this, or like I like it I like it enough, but I don't know. Maybe that's,
I agree.
Maybe that's too deep for how to end this podcast.
I just think it's interesting, because that's not me. I think if I was doing a job that allowed me to do something else, the whole time I'd be thinking, why am I not just doing that? Like, why? To me, that feels like I'm wasting my time. But I can see how they feel that way.
Yeah, I think for me, I struggled with, when I was first getting into ministry, like before I was at First Ridgeland, I was like, I want to be a senior pastor by when I'm 28. And then I had Maggie, and I was like, and I never like wanted to leave, or like I never like didn't under, like I was never like looking.
I'm taking Bird's job by 28.
Yeah, no. I could not fall in his shoes. He's too good. But like I was like, I thought, I felt that way, and then I had Maggie, and I had that kind of thought of just like, I am so happy here, and I love my life here, and I love our church, And I'm like, why was I ever? And I wasn't actively thinking about that. That was just my initial goal when I got in
Right.
ministry. And then I realized, like, shoot, if I can do this and be happy and fulfilled in what God's called me to do for 10, 15, 20, 30 more years, then why mess with it? And it's like, I'm just not looking for that because I just am so, I don't know if it's like less ambitious or if that's the term, or just like more focused on what God wants me to do instead of what I wanted to do. I think that was probably more of it. But it's like, it's something about that of just like having a job that will allow you to be the best father you can be.
Mm-hmm.
Because like coaching, I've thought about like when I was in college, I coached, but like I can't imagine being a coach and like you don't get home till 6:30. My kids go to bed at 7. I'm like, what do I get? 30 minutes a day? It's crazy.
It is wild. I think about those families that like that, where they have super demanding jobs and all that. And then I think about our jobs and like we're gone Wednesday night, and then if you have an event on a Thursday night, you're gone there, and Sunday night rolls around, and it's like.
And not to be a pity party on us, because I love my job. My job allows me to come on a Tuesday afternoon and spend 9 hours doing a podcast. You know what I mean? It's like I love my job.
Oh yeah.
So that's not what I'm trying to get to. I'm saying just like I think that there is value in that to a lot of people, and you can find out stuff like that, like their motivations for why they do what they do, like in conversation, and you don't. I don't know. I think you're good enough and Steven's good enough to where like y'all could have one on here and it would be interesting if you just really like got to the core of.
That's the key for me though, is I have to be able to talk to the person. Like, and I think I find I'm kind of like you in the fact that like I could if I was like, you handle silica gels, like that's wild, or you do this. At least if I have something to talk about, if I'm interested, we can make it happen.
Well, it's also, I think, part of doing ministry is like you've got to learn to be interested in stuff.
Right.
I mean,
well, you just have to learn to care.
Yeah, and that's you have to learn how to make conversation around people's interests, especially doing student ministry, because students will come in and you're like, what do you do? And they're like, I make animes. Like I had that happen the other day, and I was like, what does that even mean? And then I'm like talking to a kid, and he's like showing me the like little drawings he's done, and I'm like, oh, that's what this, you know what I mean? And it's like I know how to talk about that with him.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think I think it's a compelling thing to listen to, hearing a podcast that doesn't have a clear objective of like getting to the bottom of something. It's just like, hey, let's talk to this guy that we find interesting. But I don't know who those people are because I don't go here. But I think that you could. I'm sure there are people.
There's definitely people, and we're starting to get some of those people. But I like what you said. I think it's important to look at people not for necessarily what they have to give, but to see who they are.
I'll say this though. What's the hard part of that is the people that you're trying to get for that are going to be like, oh, I don't have any.
Right.
They think I'm not interesting. And you're like, I'm not saying you're the most interesting person alive. I'm saying that like we can get something out of this conversation that is interesting because we're going to talk through stuff that you think. Because what happens is people think in their jobs something's normal.
Yeah.
And it's not normal. You're like, no, we've never made those packets that go in the beef jerky. Or we've never done drill bits at Milwaukee. So I don't know. This machine you're describing that makes these things, that's insane. And they're like, oh, no. Like, and you're like, wait, so it can like rip your hand off if you just do one little hard, like wrong thing?
If you tip when you're supposed to tap and all the other things.
Yep. Well, Steven?
Yep.
What's up, dude?
Tyler, when are you moving up to 4-0 tennis?
I'm so bad right now, dude. It's I lost a lot in my tri-level league. I'm not in a league in the fall. There's a league that's coming up in October that I'm going to get a team together for. I just haven't been playing as much solely because I just haven't. Like there's no reason.
How many people are on a team?
This league, it's all different, depends on what league. This league it's called like Ecolu or whatever. It's like
E. coli.
Yeah. And it's a court of men's doubles, a court of women's doubles, and then a court of mixed doubles every week. So you can have as little as 6, I think, if you want. But like that'd be like everybody's playing every week. And it runs from like October to December. And so I want to play every week. So I might just get a friend of mine, me and him do the men's doubles court, and then get enough.
But don't you just like open it up to people and say, "Hey, who wants to join our team?"
No, you got to like.
So you're like recruiting people.
Well, so I tried to do that one year, just like be like, we'll make a team, and nobody joined it. And then it was like the day of, and I didn't have people. Like they don't do a great job of like getting the open teams out to the people. Like it was like the day of, and I was like, hey, I wanted to make a team. What did you tell anybody? And they were like, no, but here's the list if you want to call these people. And it was like 50 people, and I was like, okay, so I had to like, and they're like, yeah, but do it by 5.
So you were just cold calling.
I was texting everybody and be like, hey, I saw 4 months ago you put your name on a tennis list. And like they weren't off there if they had already joined one. It was a whole fiasco. You played it all?
I played a little bit in college, and I enjoy it. I like it more than pickleball, I'll tell you that.
Pickleball, don't get me started.
We're a pickleball church.
I really don't need to get started then.
We play pickleball every Monday night. And I say I haven't been to one, but
I think it's tennis for those who would not like to run around.
Yeah.
And that's fine if that's you, but that's not me. The part I like about tennis is the running around.
Being athletic.
Yeah.
Ooh, that would set some people off, me saying that.
You said it.
Because they would say, we are athletic. And I would go,
yeah, I'm like, y'all could kill me in pickleball. I'm not saying that it's not a good game. I'm just like, personally, the part I like about tennis is the running around.
Yeah.
And I love serving. Serving's my favorite.
I like when someone hits you a good top spin forehand and then you turn one right back and you're just sending it. Good top spin right over the net. It feels nice. You're getting a little rally going.
Yep.
Like, to me, that's what feels good. And then I hate it when they do a little dinker right at the net, and it's the worst.
Yeah. So this is my last time on this podcast, I guess. Y'all never going to ask me back.
Is that true?
I don't know. I'm asking you.
I thought we were doing season podcast. I thought we were going to do a winter in the spring.
Cool with that.
We have to compare sweet potato pie and pumpkin pie.
I'm cool with doing anything on the, like, as far as I will come on for whatever topic. Y'all just let me know. I would like to know more about this phone and where it came from.
You will never find out because we don't know.
How would you feel if we invited Michaela on?
She would like it. You know what we should do?
What?
Just her and Megan do one.
There we go.
And just like us not be on it.
Yeah, just be sitting. We could be sitting on that couch.
And what's your wife's name?
Anna.
Let her come do the.
How do you think Anna would produce? She'd do the switcher and all that.
Yeah, she could do it.
So
I'm not saying she can't. She can't do it. I'm saying would she do it?
Probably.
Just come do a girls episode.
She does her own podcast with a friend of hers.
Is it about Disney?
It's about traveling
to Disney.
She goes to other places too,
but mainly Disney. Where has she been the most?
I mean,
say it. Disney.
Well,
all right, Steven,
guys.
give us an out. Give us a question or a comment, and we'll go out on that.
Why do you keep holding an empty water bottle?
I don't know. Something to fidget with.
Okay.
It was not empty a few minutes ago. Like as the start of this podcast, bottle of water here, it was not empty. So I guess just.
That's why he's trying to end it. He's got to use the restroom.
Ah, that's why you're fidgeting.
Really?
Pressure.
I'm fading. I'm getting tired.
You were tired. You were asleep when we got here.
Yeah.
Give us a question and we'll go out on it. You lag so hard on that video switcher.
I did. I got nothing. You usually no. Well, yeah. You usually tell me to have a last word. What's your last word?
Tyler, what is the spiciest food that's ever made your stomach upset?
Well, I will say this. I've been workshopping this idea. By workshopping, I mean thinking about doing it and then babying out. I want to eat one of the one chip challenges as I preach. So like get up on there to do a Wednesday night.
Bad idea.
And just like eat it and be like, I'm going to go till I can't. And be like, so if I got 30 minutes in me with this chip, or if I'm like 5 minutes in.
There's no way you have 30 minutes in you.
I know. That's what I mean. So I'm like, I think that would be such a fun thing to do. But I also am like, am I prepared for it to last 2 minutes? And then it's like 6:28, and then like y'all are dismissed. I think I ate.
You need to do that with announcements, because announcements, it'll give you time to recover before.
I don't think so. I think you're
done.
I think I should just get a guest speaker that night and be like, I'm gonna eat this chip, and then this person's gonna speak.
You have to stay up there though, so people can watch you
I'm
suffer.
going home. That's the challenge. I think the spiciest thing I ever ate, I ate a jalapeno popper this weekend. I guess I didn't get all the seeds out
It
of
lit
it.
you up.
Oh, I made them. Me and Phil were on the back porch watching football. I made them. I came back in. I had ate one outside, and I was like, this is crazy hot, Phil. I was like, I thought I got all the seeds out. I was like, I need to go tell the girls not to eat them. And I go in, and Michaela is in the sink with her mouth under the sink, running water directly into her mouth. And it's like, what did you do? And I was like, I'm sorry. But I was like going to tell them, hey, don't eat those. Those are really spicy.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm a baby a little bit with spice.
I know you are.
So yeah, maybe that jalapeno popper. That's the only one I really remember. I'm sure I ate a jalapeno or a habanero. We used to grow peppers in our backyard. I'm sure I ate one of those. One time I made these spicy beef lettuce wraps.
So fancy.
I got into watching Gordon Ramsay one day.
Of course.
It was like I'm gonna
do.
I'm gonna make this during COVID. You remember all that? And those were one of those that I was like, man, I just spent so much money on all these ingredients, and I ruined it because I kept the seeds in that chili. Because he said, "Oh, if you like a little bit of spice, you can keep the seeds in there." And I was like, "Okay."
And that's for maniacs who keep all the seeds in there.
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh, little spice." Gordon knows, and evidently he meant if you already can't feel your mouth and you'd like to not feel it anymore. What about you, Spicy? You want to do that? You know, we should do it at Together Weekend. Me and you both eat a one chip on the stage during the game when we do our game.
I went to Fusion, the Thai Japanese place on 51.
It's good.
It is good. I really like it. And I usually get hot level stuff. You know, you say like mild, medium, spicy, or hot, or then there's Thai hot.
Yeah.
And I was talking a big game because, to be honest, the levels change dramatically. They give you as much spice as they think you can handle. It doesn't really matter what you say. And so one time I said hot, and they just put nothing on it. And I was like, this is not spicy. And so the next time I went and I said, hey, I want Thai hot. And they were like, no, you don't. And I said, I do. I tried hot and it wasn't hot enough. And she took that as a personal affront to her and her family. And so she put so much on there. It was the only dish I've never finished. Like, I wanted to eat more. I was still hungry. Could not physically eat any more of it.
Were you embarrassed?
Oh, yeah.
Did you say, like, did you tip the cap and be like, y'all got me?
Well, I wasn't, but I didn't mean it as a challenge. I just meant it like if I meant it as a challenge, I would have tipped the cap. I just meant like, hey, I want it to be a little bit spicier than the last hot dish that I got. And she said, oh, you think you can handle it? I'm going to show you what you can handle. And then blasted me.
You do hot stuff?
No. If you'd watched the biscuit episode, you would know that.
He ate a jalapeno cheddar biscuit from Whataburger. And
took one bite and I was like, nah, I'm good. I have a huge aversion to jalapeno and just spicy food in general.
I go get donuts with Maggie every Saturday morning. We go, right now our spot is Epic Donuts out in Gluckstadt.
You drive from Tidewater to Epic Donuts?
Yeah, it's the best place for us to sit down and her run around and everything. And I get a sausage and
a kolache.
Jalapeno cheddar kolache.
Is that how you say it? I never know how to say it.
I think.
I bit into one of those not knowing there was jalapeno in it. And
there?
Yeah.
So good though, huh?
It was good until I noticed the jalapeno was in there. And then
the main ingredient.
Call it,
yeah.
I think they just got tired of people not knowing how to pronounce kolache, so they just call it a big pig in a blanket.
Yeah.
Anyways, and so Maggie has turned into this just like, she tells me what she wants, I get it, whatever she wants, and then she just eats my kolache, but she'll take a bite and be like, this is good, and then take another bite and she'll get jalapeno, and she'll be like, Daddy, it's hot. Daddy's hot. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that wasn't for you. And then I continue eating it, and then she's like, okay, now I want more. And then she does the same thing until she eats most of it.
How's Bebe these days?
She's good. Jules is living life. She's it's very weird. I don't know. I just feel like the second one is so different because you like with Maggie, I remember every little detail, and like this one, it's kind of like stuff just flying by. It feels like
Cannon will be 2 in 2 weeks, and I remember people used to ask me like, "Does it feel like it's been X years?" And I was like, "Yes." Yep. With Cash, it felt like he's 5. It feels like it's been 5 years.
Yep. With
Cannon, it feels like it's been 8 months.
Yeah,
it just flies.
Jules is 5 months old. September 3rd, she's 5 months old, and I don't know. It's weird being. I don't know. Just like I'm very anti these people who like act like everything is the worst thing ever, especially with children. Like they'll be like, you'd be like, oh, how old's Maggie? You're like 2, and they go, oh, terrible 2s, huh? And I'm like, no, actually, I love my kid. You know what I mean? Or like, oh, like, bet you can't wait till she's potty trained, and you're like, yeah, I mean, I'm excited for that, but like, we're enjoying the stage. Or like, if you're, I don't know, I just think people do it with marriage too, even in the church. Like sometimes, like as a whole, like you have like this thing of like, oh, I'm getting married. They're like, oh, that first year of marriage is so hard. I'm like, how about let's just be excited for people.
Literally walking into the hospital to have our child, the lady that greeted us at the hospital said something along the lines of, oh, enjoy it while it lasts. You want to give them up when they become a teenager. It's
yeah, like, how about let me be excited?
Freaking room.
Yeah, how about let me be excited about having this kid or getting married? And I'm like, there are people seriously that will do that. That'll say like, oh, they're getting married, and I don't think it's intentional. They're just trying to make conversation, but it's like, you know, I don't know. Let's be positive about the things God tells us is really good things, like having kids and marriage.
I love it. But, all right, let's get out of here.
That was a good last word.
Yeah.
Don't forget that it's really helpful on Spotify and other places when you listen that you can leave reviews. Tyler has not left a review, so we're going to get him to do it later.
We have exceeded 2 hours, by the way, so you are the new top.
Look at us. How about we do this? Subscribe, unsubscribe, resubscribe. If you're subscribed already, unsubscribe, resubscribe.
And then leave a review. Reviews are helpful. What can they do on YouTube?
On YouTube, you can like or comment.
Why are you talking so quietly?
This is my regular talking voice.
He's doing ASMR. On YouTube.
On YouTube, you can like, comment, or even dislike. It still looks good on analytics. People have been disliking our shorts.
Yeah. Good. All right. Yeah. We'll see you later. Have fun.